monitoring the service. He says the police should follow the lead of the Special Investigating Unit, which conducts thorough lifestyle audits on its own officials. Mkhwanazi says Parliament can also consider introducing new vetting legislation like it did with the Hawks. Mkhwanazi was giving testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption on its first day of hearings.
In the legislation, the DPCI legislation was amended to say any member of the Hawks that comes in must go through this process. People like myself, I'm not subjected to that. In a matter of fact, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, majority of us don't even have those security clearance certificates. The reason being, there's manipulation in the police. The people that are controlling this vetting, they will make sure they don't give it to you. For whatever reason, they will hold it back.
The Road Accident Fund says double payments made in respect of claims is not generally due to corruption, but the result of claimants pursuing multiple avenues to get their money. On the first day of parliamentary inquiries into governance practices at the fund, claims officials said duplicate payments largely occurred when the fund's bank account has been attached after a claim is already lodged at the RAF system. The inquiry being conducted by the Standing Committee on Public Accounts has also heard of attempts by foreign nationals who are in the country illegally using legal avenues to be compensated. Lindsay Dentlinga takes a look.
Much of the first day of the inquiry involved officials explaining the claims process to MPs who sought to understand why the fund was not meeting its 180-day deadline to pay a legitimate claim, leading to court action. Acting Regional Manager Bongani Bingwa says this situation is contributing to the duplicate payments.
So instead of them waiting for up until RAF does the payment, they will go in and attach RAF's bank account, meaning that they will submit a rate and then the bank will have no option but to pay the amount, whilst the same amount is already requested on the system.
Acting Chief Claims Officer Tsepo Moache says lawyers also circumvent the claims deadline.
You've got instances and examples of practitioners that would bring court orders when they're over 180 days with a writ.
He says mechanisms have been put in place to ensure court orders don't slip through the cracks and that they are executed timelessly. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
6 activists who were released after being detained by Israeli forces are expected to return to South Africa this morning. They were part of 450 participants in the global flotilla who were arrested last week on their way to deliver much-needed aid in the besieged territory of Gaza. The International Relations Department confirmed that the group will touch down at OR Tambo International Airport today. Khomozo Modise reports.
It's been a week since activists from around the world were captured while sailing through the Mediterranean to deliver aid to war-stricken Gaza. But after global outcry and reports of activists being held in inhumane conditions, this week the International Relations Department announced that the South Africans who were held would be released from detention and would be departing from Jordan. The group is expected to land at the OR Tambo International Airport this morning with families, friends and supporters ready to welcome them. The International Relations Department will then lead a press conference with the activists. Khomozo Modise, Eyewitness News.
The appointment of an army general as Madagascar's new prime minister has been met with little enthusiasm as young people protest against the decision. President Andry Rajoelina named the Major General as head of government on Monday in a bid to quell anti-government unrest that has claimed 22 lives. Around 200 people gathered for a fresh demonstration in the capital yesterday, with protesters saying they don't see the change as a sign that Rajoelina is genuinely ready to tackle their demands. The protest started last month over persistent power and water shortages and grew into a broader anti-government movement that at one point demanded the president's resignation. Gold is trading at $4,013.29 an ounce. The rand is at 17.24 to the dollar, 23.09 to the pound, 24 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $65.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the Mark 1 North right at the Crown Interchange. Delays coming out of Boyson's Road. There's also queuing traffic on the R24 East at the Gilulis Interchange due to roadworks.
And in your sport, SA Rugby, among 8 unions ban players from Startup League R360. English women secure successive World Cup wins. And another change for the Bafana squad ahead of their must-win World Cup qualifiers.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 15 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 16 and 30. Vereeniging 10 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has called for major reforms in the vetting of police officials to prevent any corrupt people from entering the service.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes after 6 o'clock, walking the talk on this 8th of October, the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you are listening to us from. Are you in Aldos or Hatfield? Maybe you're in Ivory Park. Wakuma, you could be in Laudium, Malawi, or Melbourne. We do have listeners down under, you know. My name is Bongani Bingwa. Glad to be in the seat this morning, talking to you about everything you need to know that's going on in South Africa. And my goodness, is there a lot. How late did you stay up last night? Watching that ad hoc committee once it got going? I was so glued. I mean, have you ever watched something that you think you've heard before, but there's nuances and newer details and extra information? I watched that first parliamentary appearance in March. I watched the press conference in July. I've obviously been watching the Madlanga Commission. And now, more of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. I can't get enough. Can you? If you missed it, we got ya. We will be bringing you some of the explosive things he had to say last night, but it really was riveting listening. We'll also tell you what's happening in the DRC after all those lives lost, particularly South African lives, and it seems the M23 rebels are doing whatever they want anyway, and Kinshasa can do nothing to stop it. We'll speak to survivors of the Flotilla ordeal, one who was captured by the Israelis and one who was on an observer boat. The CEO of Discovery Insure is here, as is the CEO of Investec South Africa. We've got quite a show.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock. One of the things I want to ask a question about is, how well do you sleep? How well do you sleep? How many hours a night, on average, do you sleep? Do you track your sleep? Do you check to see if you've had a good week or a good weekend? Are you one of those who gets busy during the week and you make up for it at the weekend? How well do you sleep, Amo?
Very well. I must say that I am a very light sleeper, but that's always been me from my childhood. But I sleep very well. I try to sleep about 6 to 7 hours a day or a night. And but the moments that I would have a great sleep is when I've taken a nap after work. So when I get home, if I'm able to take that nap, then I'm able to sleep much better at night.
At night.
Yeah.
All right. Muteo, do you sleep well?
I don't think so. I don't think I sleep well because I always sleep at around 11. And yesterday I was watching that ad hoc committee go through until 10:30, 11. So I usually sleep at 11, wake up at around 3:30, 4. So.
And you've got little ones.
And I've got little ones, and but just winding down takes a lot of time for me.
All right.
Before I can go to bed.
Do you struggle to fall asleep? Because some people have different challenges with their sleep. Some can't sleep for very long. They'll fall asleep quite easily, but they can't sustain being asleep for very long. Some people, as Muteo has just suggested, it's that winding down, right? They have to take an hour or two. And what stops you from sleeping? What distracts you? Do you have your phone nearby? Is there any blue light in your room? Is there television in your room? Do you fall asleep to music? Are you one of those that needs... I think I've got an entire playlist of rain sounds on my phone. Why do you laugh? I do. I put it on, and it sounds like it's raining. It even has the odd crackle of thunder.
Someone once said that sound is nice until it starts sounding like chicken fighting.
I've tried that trick. How well do you sleep? And are you somebody whose sleep is affected by your emotions? If you're going through some turmoil, some difficult decision that must be made, or you're anxious about a big job or a big event that's coming up in your life, tell me about your sleep. We'll be speaking to the CEO of Discovery Insure, and they've got some ideas on how to improve sleep, and it's a real thing. Because I'll tell you one of the sleeping experts who says it's important to have exercise. Certainly your diet matters, but he argues that sleep is even more important than both those things. Because if I were to deprive you of food or water or drink for 24 hours, let's say, you'd survive, most likely, right? If I were to deprive you of exercise for 24 hours, you'd survive. Amos says that's normal. But if I deprive you of sleep for 24 hours, it's a whole different game, isn't it? 072-702-1702. How well do you sleep?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, so Mateo Kharipe stayed up until 11 o'clock at night listening to that ad hoc committee in Parliament, of course, investigating allegations around the police force. He stayed up so you wouldn't have to. So now we're going to tell you some of what happened yesterday. I mean, it started with some drama. The FF leader, Julius Malema, pointing out that, of course, the ad hoc committee was an entirely separate process from the Madlanga Commission. And it couldn't be that they would simply take whatever he'd said at the Madlanga Commission and copy and paste and put it here. They wanted to hear the evidence themselves in their own way. So there was a pause, but at some point, things got going. And boy, oh boy, did they. I want you to listen now to one of the issues that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi raised about the late ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, who used to be, of course, a police minister. And yeah, it was quite a moment. Let's have a listen.
We are sitting today, the country is in mourning because we lost one of our ambassador in France. But then ambassador was a minister of police. As you switch on the television and you watch the homestead of the former minister of police, you're going to see a very big wall, perimeter wall, that was built by the money from crime intelligence. But nobody was held accountable for such, and the reports are there. So 2011, we're experiencing all these things. It's members from crime intelligence that takes the money out of crime intelligence to use them to take control of the executive authority. The minister never asked for the wall. The members from crime intelligence took the money, secret fund account, to make that wall so they can get control of the minister. So tomorrow they can then loot that money on their own. Then the minister can't say anything. It's the same thing bringing us here today. Minister of Police, Mr. Senzo Mchunu, was made to sign a letter by the raw people within the organization.
Isn't that hectic? He says, we're in mourning. There's going to be a funeral. There'll be visuals of this man's home. Have a look at that wall. It was built with illicit funds so as to compromise him. And we're seeing that same movie again. But it wasn't just Nathi Mthethwa that he had words for. You remember the DA MP Diane Kohler-Barnard, who had said in an interview that she expected an apology from the provincial commissioner. You remember, of course, last month, the committee was in a heated debate of whether or not Kohler-Barnard should recuse herself. This after Mkhwanazi accused her at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry of disclosing classified crime intelligence information, which she said was already on the public record, and she vehemently denied, asking for an apology. Well, yesterday, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, gave that apology.
And the member asked me to apologize in the national TV. I told everyone else that told me about that I will apologize to the honorable member. I'm apologizing that the honorable member had forgotten the oath that she took. I forgot. I apologize for it. That she took an oath. That oath has got an expiry date according to her. that this one is valid only for the period when the Joint Standing Committee exists. When a Joint Standing Committee doesn't exist, that oath that she took, it expires. The honourable member that forget that she took an oath before South Africans in Parliament not to divulge the secret of government.
Right? I'll play you one more. I mean, there are a few more that we can play for you during the show, but one of the things that I thought is important for you to note, because he's become, of course, I think one of the most popular South Africans, public figures at the moment, and some suggestions have been maybe he should run for political office. And he was very clear yesterday that he is not a politician. He's a civil servant with no interest in becoming a politician. And isn't that exactly the kind of person you and I normally want to lead, those that don't want it?
Within the political space, but it's not my space. And I don't dream of becoming a politician. There was an invitation on some of the members that I should join, but I'll gladly decline because that's not me. I was never like that. I'm just a South African, a civil servant. That's what I'm doing. I think people sometimes confuse a police officer that might become famous as we do and politician. You don't run a country by enforcing the law only. You run a country by looking at a variety of things, which I'm not an expert on. I know policing, nothing else. I don't write legislation, I enforce it. I might pick up things that are wrong in the legislation, but I don't draft it. The honorable members do that.
Do your job and I'll do mine. As simple as that, right? He's called for major reforms in the vetting of police officials to prevent any corrupt people from entering the service. He spoke about a wide range of things, including the fact that police can actually listen to your phone calls if they suspect you are committing a crime or are about to. And I'll play some of those. If you stayed up last night, I'd love your reactions to General Ntantla Mkhwanazi and what he had to say at that ad hoc committee yesterday investigating these allegations of really, I suppose, the pollution of our law enforcement.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
17 after 6. Mateo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you this morning, are you taking care of a senior citizen in your life or senior citizens? Are they living with you? Have you decided to find a property where other senior citizens live for them? And how are you working around the costs of healthcare and, being taken care of at that senior age?
Gosh, I mean, I'm part of what they call the sandwich generation. And we say these things like it's a new phenomenon. We even have words for it, names for it, the sandwich generation. And you think, actually going back in time, everybody who's ever lived has done that, right? And the sandwich generation is where you're looking after your own children, but also your aging folks, right? And I make no secret of the fact that my 86-year-old now mother lives with me, and she is frail. Interestingly, she did live in a retirement village for many years, and she was part of an active community of retired citizens. But it wasn't a dormitory style old age home in that sense, right? It was a village where they had their own units. Think of a cluster complex, if you will, right? They had their own units. They were completely independent, but they'd this community where they'd have activities, there'd be fates, and we'd sometimes have to we'd have to come and attend. They would all go shopping together. They would go to collect all their medications together. So it was part of a community, but as she grew more frail, it just made more sense to have a closer eye on her. And as far as the costs, you just, suck it up.
Suck it up. It's something that you have to do.
That's what you do.
Well, they're taking care of me. As we speak, my children are at my mother's house for the holidays. But I mean, I think it's easier for her to do that because we make things easier for her to be able to take care of our children, or even for us, like when we go home, because we'll contribute to one thing or the other, or, we'll pay for this or the other. So, yeah, we all benefit.
And of course, I mean, your mom is still relatively young.
Yeah.
She still has the energy to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm so curious about what prompts the question, Mateo.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect? It's 20 after 6. Joburg, temperatures peaking at 26 degrees. What lovely rain we had yesterday afternoon. It was just so there's nothing better than rain in the afternoon when you're at home and you don't have anywhere else to go, right? 30 degrees is your max in Pretoria, 27 in Vereeniging. Cape Town maxes at 21 degrees. Bloemfontein, 28. Durban, partly cloudy. There will be isolated showers there. Temperatures maxing at 24 degrees. Gqeberha in East London, 22. Kimberley, 29.
EWN Traffic.
All right, our first EWN Traffic is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, prepared to perform whatever the terrain. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident on the Mike 1 North, right at the Crown Interchange. Delays coming out of Boyson's Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North. Peak time delays there between the Elands Interchange and the Geldenhuys turned off. And if you're traveling towards Sunning Hill and Woodmead, do expect heavier traffic volumes on the N3 North between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu Interchange due to more roadworks taking place along this route. I'll have more updates for you, but if you come across anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Weekdays on the highway, weekends on the trail, in rain, on tar, or halfway up a gravel pass. With the new Bridgestone Jeweler All-Terrain AT002, you don't have to choose. Bridgestone, prepared to perform whatever the terrain.
Great news, travelers! FlySafair is now flying between Cape Town and Hoedspruit 3 times a week. So, whether you want to chase the Big Five in Kruger, soak up the views at God's Window, or wind through the beautiful panorama route, Hoedspruit is the perfect launch pad to some of SA's amazing natural treasures. Ready to go from coastlines to canyons in just a few clicks? Book flights now at flysafair.co.za from just 1,570 Rand. FlySafair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba Iron Ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion Rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Yakolin?
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Outsurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Morning, Bongani. Rebecca here from Alberton. Great show as always. I used to struggle to sleep a lot until I actually changed my diet and I started exercising more. Then I started having good night sleeps. But then one trick that my 4-year-old gave me, he was like, "Mommy, if you struggle to sleep, just close your eyes, keep quiet, and the sleep will come." Thank you.
Good morning, Bong. I was on 72 Lendes about the sleep. I've never struggled with sleep since my childhood. I remember the one day my mother told me that I slept during the day and I woke up at night and I went to pee and I came back and I slept throughout the night. It is still the case, even in my 40s. I still sleep. I can come back home tired, I take a nap. At night, I'm the one who's sitting on the couch. The TV will be watching me while I'm gone. My kids even know that I can sleep while they're busy talking. I've got no problems with sleep whatsoever. During the week, because I'm a runner, I sleep like 5 hours. Over the weekend, I make it up for it. I can sleep like 8-9 hours. So I am a sleepy baby and I enjoy it because that's not one of my problems. So people must sleep, please. Thanks a lot for a great show, guys. Shadi, Kempton Park.
Shadi in Kempton Park, appreciate that voice note. We're asking you, when last did you get a full 8 hours of sleep? How well do you sleep? Do you struggle to sleep? Have you got challenges when it comes to falling asleep or even staying asleep? We'll tell you why we're asking that question coming up.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
25 minutes after 6 o'clock, things you need to know at this hour. Listen to this. So there's a furore in Alexandra where residents are upset about, and the family of 31-year-old Chitabo Ntshanwisi have expressed outrage following the Alexandra Magistrates Court that granted his girlfriend, a 22-year-old Ntokozo Mabasa, 10,000 rand bail for his in the case involving his alleged murder. So Mabasa is accused of stabbing Ntshanwisi fatally in Midrand in September, right? But she was released after her lawyer argued she posed no flight risk. And the family, of course, say there are inconsistencies in the story and they're hoping the trial will bring them answers and justice. And I think it's one of those things that's always important to clear up. Bail is really to guarantee that the person who's accused of something will show up to give answers. Bail is usually then not allowed if they think the person is going to run away and not show up, or if they think they may pose yet more danger to the rest of society. So bail, the granting of bail, is not an indicator of guilt or innocence. And I just thought it's important to put that out there. South Africa is seeking between $2 and $3 billion in funding from the African Export-Import Bank to finance a transformation fund aimed at supporting black-owned enterprises. And the country is also upgrading its status to full sovereign membership in the $43 billion bank, and the idea is to give it greater influence. The American scientist Fred Ramsdell discovered that he had won a Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine while hiking off-grid in Wyoming after his wife screamed something he'd first mistook for spotting a bear, beg your pardon. And it's all about research on how the immune system spares healthy cells. Bruno Mars, born Peter Jean Hernandez on this day in 1985 in Honolulu. The Grammy Award-winning pop and R&B singer known for global hits Just the Way You Are, Grenade, and this very odd one that KG has found. Not Uptown Funk, not That's What I Like, not Billionaire. Okay, Grenade is nice.
Newspapers.
All right, let's look at the newspapers. Sfiso Zulu, what's getting your attention in the papers?
It's
do you sleep well, firstly?
Hey?
Do you sleep well?
No, I don't.
How much sleep do you get every night?
Probably 4-5 hours, because I have to wake up really early, and it's hard for me to sleep early as well. You know what I mean? But much like Amu, if I manage to sleep during the day, I will get a good night rest, right? But I hardly ever.
What time do you go to bed?
Around 8-9.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but sometimes I can't sleep really like at 9 o'clock. I'd fall asleep at around 10 p.m.
But are you in bed?
Yes,
Lights off?
yes.
You just
Lights
sit
off,
there
no
for an
phone,
hour?
nothing, just trying to fall asleep.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, I'm looking at the Irish Independent this morning. They are asking, is sober dating the future of romance? So this comes from people...
Sober dating?
Sober dating.
What's sober dating?
Let me explain. So what's happening in Ireland is that people are looking to go on dates that are alcohol-free, right? So what they're saying is that over the past year, dating has now ranked among the top 5 trending topics in Google search related to sobriety, with people asking where to meet people in Dublin when sober and fun sober date ideas. And this is becoming popular. So people in Ireland are looking for, going on dates that are alcohol free, right?
Because traditionally people would meet at bars and pubs and have a drink.
And that kind of thing. But that is becoming less and less. But I'd like to stretch it as far as, would you go to a social event, a party that caters alcohol-free drinks, no alcohol at all? Would you have appetite for that? Would you have a dry throat for that?
Let me answer Let me answer you this way. I did an episode of Come Dine With Me, as some of you may remember.
Yes.
And on the very first night, the host decided he was going to host an alcohol-free dinner. And we were shocked, the rest of us, when we realized he actually had a bar. But he didn't want to serve alcohol because he thought we'd all get drunk. And let's just say, he didn't win that episode. Front page of Sowetan, plan to push 370 earners to business. Traffic bodies 2 million rand fail, says The Citizen. And the front page of The Business Day, South Africa hits up what is it?
Afri-Exim Bank.
Afri-Exim Bank for $2 billion backing.
EWN Business.
Thank you, Mateo. Maybe I'm the senior citizen you're taking care of in this studio, right? You've been asking us that question. Are you taking care of senior citizens staying with you in the same home? Have you chosen some living facility for them? What prompts the question?
Well, Growth Point Investments is putting its money in the senior living industry in a big way. Growth Point Healthcare Property Holdings, the Growth Point real estate arm, has agreed to acquire Aurea Senior Living, a leading operator and developer of senior living communities in South Africa. Now, the transaction will see GHPH acquire Aurea's property assets and operations valued at about 2.4 billion rand, including minority interest. Now, with 12 million South Africans expected to be over the age of 60 by 2050, there is increasing demand for senior housing solutions. The deal will add 4 existing senior living communities to Growth Point's portfolio. The communities accommodate more than 900 residents across more than 630 independent living units and 110 care units as well. Now, the elderly care industry is big business in South Africa, with the cost of elderly care ranging from 10,000 rand to as much as 35,000 rand per month for assisted living facilities, and between 15,000 rand and 45,000 rand for nursing homes. And even when a senior citizen stays within your home, the costs can surge. Home care costs vary from 300 to 500 rand per hour for home-based care, depending on the required level of assistance and caregiver expertise. So something that's really should be considered in your budget.
All right, where is the rand? It's not in living assistance, is it?
A little bit at 17 Rand 23 against the US dollar, a bit weaker this morning. 20 Rand 3 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 8 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,019, a new record. $4,000 for an ounce of gold. Platinum at $1,663 an ounce, while Brent crude is now at $65.94 per barrel. I'll bring you more business after 7.
Imagine if we're still mining all that gold we used to, hey? All right, let's go straight to the Eyewitness News Desk. Sfisa Zulu, what's City Power saying?
Bongani, it says that it's confident it will win its case against the Hawks in the High Court over recent raids at its headquarters. The matter was expected to be heard yesterday, but was postponed to Friday to give the Hawks time to file their affidavits. City Power maintains the recent search and seizure operation carried out by the Hawks is unlawful, arguing that the warrants used were invalid. Spokesperson Isaac Mangena says the utility stands firm that the raid had no legal basis.
So we are confident that we will get this relief that we're seeking, and we will be able to cooperate with the Hawks in the execution of the investigation, as it were, something that we've already been doing since November last year.
The DA in Gauteng says the closure of 41 public schools in the province as a result of unsafe infrastructure has severely compromised education. In a written reply tabled in the provincial legislature, Education MEC Matume Chilwane confirmed that 26 schools were shut due to dolomitic instability and sinkhole formations. 15 other schools were closed due to low enrollment and have returned to the Department of Infrastructure or to private owners, while 4 were repurposed and merged with other schools. The DA Sergio Dos Santos has called on the department to repurpose all safe but unused schools to help ease pressure on existing ones.
These closures over the last 10 years exposed the department's ongoing failure to plan ahead and manage infrastructure properly, leaving communities without nearby schools and forcing children into overcrowded classrooms. The DA is calling on the MEC Mutumi Chilwani to repurpose and reopen safe unused schools to ease pressure on overcrowded facilities.
The KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department estimates that between 2 and 3 million rands in revenue is lost every month through illegal trucking operations transporting undeclared and unverified goods. In the latest breakthrough, the Road Traffic Inspectorate has impounded 14 abnormal load vehicles and detained 7 truck drivers for violating the National Road Traffic Acts and immigration laws. Preliminary findings have revealed that 4 of the 7 drivers are in the country illegally and have been detained, while the documents of the remaining 3 are under verification. Transport Department spokesperson Dabezinhle Sibia.
The MEC's Monsoto has commended the RTI team for uncovering what could be the biggest ever racket involving the transportation of undeclared and unverified goods by undocumented foreign nationals.
And the appointment of an army general as Madagascar's new prime minister has been met with little enthusiasm as young people protest against the decision. President Andry Rajoelina named the major general as head of government on Monday in a bid to quell anti-government unrest that has claimed 22 lives. Around 200 people gathered for a fresh demonstration in the capital yesterday, with protesters saying they don't see the change as a sign that Rajoelina is genuinely ready to tackle their demands. The protest started last month over persistent power and water shortages and grew into a broader anti-government movement that at one point demanded the president to resign. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 10 and 15 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 30.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the Mark 1 North, right at the Crown Interchange, delays from Boyson's Road towards Carr Street while travelling. On the N3 North, more heavier traffic volumes between Voorstrucker Road at the N12 exit towards Van Buren Road.
The top story this hour, Joburg City Power says it's confident it will win its case against the Hawks.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Carltonville. Following the development of gold mines in the area, Carltonville was established in 1937. The town is named after a director of Consolidated Goldfields, Guy Carlton Jones. The nearby Puneng gold mine is the world's deepest mine, reaching a depth of over 4 kilometers. It is also the home of the Johannesburg Skydiving Club, which is based at the Carltonville Airfield. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Carltonville.
Stamino Grow is a 5-in-1 supplement with amino acids, antioxidants, B vitamins, and other essential vitamins and minerals that help promote energy, well-being, immune defense, and mental vitality. Stamino Grow, 22 years of supporting Mzansi, ranked amongst the top 5 performing multivitamin brands in South Africa. Stamino Grow, grow for it.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Running a business is tough. You need tools that just work. That's why more South African businesses are switching to Mac. At iStore, we make it easy with 4,000 rands in added value when you switch. That's 3 years extended warranty and remote tech support, leaving you to focus on everything else. Switch to Mac with iStore, your expert partner. T's and C's apply. Mac at iStore. Run smooth as business should.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongles. I've struggled to sleep for many, many years, even as a child. If I got 4 hours sleep at a time, it was a lot. Currently, struggling with 2-hourly sleep cycles. And after going to doctors and having tests and all the rest, I landed up the chiropractor and it was actually the first 2 discs in my neck that were causing the problem. So finally able to get treatment and finally getting to a point where I can sleep 3 to 4 hours at a time, wake up, and then eventually go to sleep again.
Morning, Bongani and team. Well, I've never had a problem with sleeping. When I work a lot because I'm a Bolt Uber driver, and when it's time for me to sleep, I just go sleep. But recently, I just found out my partner, whom we have almost 15 years together and 2 kids, she's cheating with a colleague. Yeah, it's been hard for me. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And worse, I can't drive anymore because there's a lot going on in my mind. So yeah, it's bad.
Good morning, Bongani and team. To be honest with you, I don't sleep at all, Bongani. You know, I had a problem of sleeping anyway. But since I buried my child 3 weeks ago, it's worse. I just don't sleep. Yo, I can't sleep, Bongani. I don't want to lie. I even decided to bake late so that I can sleep late, so that I can wake up early because, wow, it's deep. A mother losing a son, burying a child. It's a lot, Bongs.
Sure. Yeah, no, that definitely is a lot. There are many reasons why people struggle to sleep. Trauma, loss, grief, disappointment, betrayal, right? Finding out that your spouse has been unfaithful. Gosh, that's quite a lot to deal with. There are many reasons why people are struggling to sleep. We're having this conversation, by the way, because Discovery Insure has come up with new ways to help you think about your sleeping patterns, and they want to emphasize the impact of a lack of sleep in terms of quality of life. We'll be speaking to the CEO of Discovery Insure a little after 8, and so that's why we're asking the question, when last did you get 8 hours sleep, and what's the reason? For many people, you just accept that you're an insomniac. I love that first voice note about going to a chiropractor and finding out that it was actually a disc that was the issue, right? Sometimes there is something you can do about it. Good luck to you having buried your child, 3 weeks ago. I hope it does get easier. I hope time makes it easier to find a way to deal with your loss. And an unfaithful spouse. How do you begin to pick the pieces? And I think that's one of the things that's so important to always remember, that you think you're going through things, eh? You think your life is tough. You think you're having a bit of a rough ride, or I don't know, because somebody broke your heart 2 weeks ago. There are people with really, really big struggles, and you just don't know what the next person is going through, do you?
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira in for Cindy Kaluta. Anthony, a very good morning to you.
Morning.
When last did you get 8 hours of sleep?
I was actually sitting here trying to think. It's been a while, to be honest with you.
You're also an insomniac.
I struggle to fall asleep, but once I get going, then nobody can wake me up. I have several alarm clocks to get me up in the morning. Because, once I'm asleep, But it's the falling asleep, that initial moment, such a problem.
So what do you do? I mean, because I'm one of those people, I hit my pillow, switch off the lights, I'm gone.
That must be so nice.
I'm gone.
I mean, I've gone to sleep therapists before. They recommended that I get to bed at midnight and I'm up at 5. And if within the first 30 minutes I haven't fallen asleep, I must get up and, continue with my day until eventually sleep comes. And it's never helped. Right now, I just put a podcast in the background and then hope that my brain will just switch off.
It's not off 702 breakfast, is it?
No.
Let's talk SA Rugby.
Yeah, SA Rugby has joined 7 other rugby unions in placing a blanket ban on players playing international tests for them if they decide to join the R360 League. They cite a lack of transparency relating to player welfare, the changes in the season calendar, as well as the new competition fitting into the rugby ecosystem. R360 plans to launch in October 2026, offering players hefty contracts with a slimmed-down schedule, playing a series of events in major cities across the the globe. In cricket, the English women made it back-to-back wins to start their World Cup and move back to the top of the table. They beat Bangladesh by 4 wickets. Heather Knight, the player of the match, with an unbeaten 79. While in football, Amajita will be facing Colombia in the last 16 of the Under-20 FIFA World Cup this evening. It's the first time in 16 years the team has qualified for the knockout stages after finishing runner-up in Group E. Here's defender Tato Sibia.
We are grateful to have made that, and I'm grateful to be part of this group of talented people. So yeah, for that to happen for us, yeah, it's a good thing. I feel blessed.
Inter Miami defender Jordi Alba announced his decision to retire from football at the end of the MLS season. Best known for his successful spell at Barcelona, where he won 16 major honours, including 5 La Liga titles and 1 UEFA Champions League. He also captained Spain to the 22-23 UEFA Nations League title. Meanwhile, Spanish champions Barcelona have delayed their move back to the Camp Nou once again. The clubs say they need permission to have a temporary capacity of 45,000. Initially, they were slated to return back to the renovated stadium in November 2024. However, several delays have led to the reopening date to be pushed back. And in case you missed it, Ikram Reyners has been forced out the Bafana squad due to medical reasons. This has seen Evidence Mahopa return as the forwards replacement. The national team are in camp in Johannesburg as they prepare for 2 crucial World Cup qualifiers against Zimbabwe and Rwanda over the next week. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
702. My name is Rofio and I go to Richville Primary School, and when I grow up, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm excited to play the Whiz Quiz with Uncle Bongani.
We're excited to play with you too, Rafiwa. Will you walk away with the 10,000 Rand?
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes to 7 o'clock. There's a crash on the M1 North. Amma, what's going on?
Well, Bongani, it's causing heavy delays. It's right at the Crown interchange. Delays as we come out of the Boysons Road exit towards Car Street while traveling in Sharon Lee. Another accident scene reported. This one is on the N1 North right near Malibongwe Drive, causing heavy traffic volumes. And please do remember to be on the lookout for those roadworks taking place on the N3 North, already causing delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. There's also roadworks taking place in Boksburg on the N17 East right near Rondebold Road, also slowing down traffic there. Please be on the lookout. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Why wait? Sell your ride now and enjoy instant payment with a seamless experience. We Buy Cars isn't playing when it comes to buying cars. It's faster and easier than you think. Curious about what they'll offer? Visit webuycars.co.za today. Looking for your next ride? Explore a massive range of cars, bikes, boats, bakkies, and more, online or in-store. We Buy Cars, the best way.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Bongani and the team. Brett here from Brandberg. Bongani, I don't struggle sleeping. Well, I do work long hours at work, but still, if I have to sleep, I have to sleep. Doesn't matter what time is it, even if it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If I told myself that an hour I want to go and sleep, I'll go and sleep. I don't even struggle. 10 minutes is enough, then I sleep. And then I can wake up around 8 o'clock p.m., eat, sleep again. So I don't really struggle on sleeping. Thanks, guys. Nice show as always.
Good morning, Bongani. How's it? And the listeners out there. Sleeping is not supposed to be a problem. Just eat pap and you will see. Eat pap. Just before you sleep, eat pap, and then everything will be just fine. You'll just sleep nicely for your 8 hours, and then Tada, you know?
Good morning, Bongles and the team. Try sleeping in your third trimester and come back and give me feedback. And it's not even like I can nap during the day and I get such overwhelming fatigue where I doze off if I am not busy with anything. But yeah, we push on. It's the last push.
You're almost there. You're almost there. Last push. Those words are about to take on a whole new meaning, my friend. Amo, can you relate that last
I can, but
trimester?
I can relate, but I just wanted to say that the best sleep is actually after the baby has been born. Just after the baby. Bongani, it's
the first
best.
week or first day?
The first day, the first week, when you know,
You just
you are tired, you sleep like the actual baby.
Oh, wow. That's absolutely fantastic. Listen, congratulations on that pregnancy. You're almost there. I'm not sure about eating pap as a way.
On a hot
It
summer's
might help
day.
you to it might help you to fall asleep. Whether it'll help you stay asleep, I can't sleep when I'm too full.
Really?
No, I feel uncomfortable. Maybe I feel like I'm in my trimester as well. Hey? Look, we're going to be talking about the real health risks that the lack of sleep pose for many South Africans. Sleep Factor is research that indicates, or at least it's looked at 47 million sleep records, and poor sleep is a serious issue.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, we talk about the M23 in the Eastern DRC in the Africa Report. In the meantime, let's give away some cash, shall we? We're playing today with Rofiwa, who is 12 years old and goes to Ridgevale Primary and wants to be an entrepreneur later on in life. Rofiwa, are you ready to play?
Yes, I am.
All right, KG, start the clock. How many capitals does South Africa have?
3.
Correct. True or false? Nelson Mandela was born on the 18th of July in 1958.
True.
It's false. Which letter is the second vowel in our alphabet?
B.
E.
Sure.
Complete the saying, the early bird gets the what?
The early worm.
Correct. True or false? In the sport of netball, you are required to kick the ball.
False.
Correct. What is 4 times 9?
36.
Correct. The large fish with a triangular fin on its back is called a great white what?
Shark.
Correct. What does the abbreviation ASAP stand for?
Pass.
As soon as possible. What beginning with C is the name of the largest Caribbean island?
Pass.
Cuba. Spell the word colorful.
C.
And we've run out of time, I'm afraid, Rafiwa. We ran out of time. That means you walk away with half of the questions answered correctly. Not 5, but 600 Rand. 600 Rand. I thought it was 5. Beg your pardon, 600 Rand. Nearly stole 500 Rand from you. That's today's Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest in the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. And then a little later, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance.
702.
The Africa Report.
7 to 7. Whose DRC is it anyway? In the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, it would appear now that the M23 rebels have taken on that part of the country. Life under the M23 has taken a new shape. It's chilling to hear reports of sporadic attacks. And we understand now residents speaking of forced labor, fear, disappearances, a shadow government operating beyond the reach of Kinshasa. The United Nations says Rwanda has de facto control over the M23 operations, making it essentially an occupying power under international law. We're joined now by Kambale Musavuli, a native of the DRC, who is an analyst for the Center for Research on Congo-Kinshasa. We're trying to get him through on Zoom. He's meant to be on Zoom, and he doesn't seem to be with us at the moment. There seems to be a connection issue there. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that issue because it is an important one in the context of lives lost, both, of course, of Congolese, but also South African soldiers who have fought in that conflict, trying to bring about peace.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Whilst we try to get that connection, perhaps what we can do is play you more of what we heard yesterday in Parliament as that ad hoc committee investigates corruption and political interference in the police. And there is so much that was heard yesterday from particularly, of course, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Let's talk about what he said yesterday about safe houses and the idea that we as South Africans might be shocked as to who is using them.
That crime intelligence have got their own ways of operations that don't 100% conform to the norm that we all know and understand. How they acquire a facility, they do not acquire a facility through public works. And Honorable Konapana knows that because she's been in this committee for that long. The crime intelligence have been leasing buildings as safe houses. They've been leasing properties. And some of these properties, Honorable Chair and members, and I'm not inviting you to go deeper to finding out because it's not within your space, it's within the Joint Standing Committee. But you will be shocked of some of these properties that we've been leasing as a South African Police Service, crime intelligence. Who do they belong to, number one, and whether they are used for what they are leased for.
Isn't that scary? Because he's implying that there are people who are powerful, possibly politically connected, politically powerful, whose homes are being leased by crime intelligence. And he says you'd be shocked who it might be. Right? He says if you find out who these names are, we would be shocked. It almost seems to me there's even more information he's not sharing with us that we need to know. He then, of course, also warned about discussing crime intelligence matters in public forums or through the media. And he says this could backfire spectacularly.
The risk with that, which I repeat before this committee, is that the members of crime intelligence are going to be forced to defend themselves. And the only best way to defend themselves is to speak the truth. And when they come with the truth, majority of you will not be able to stomach it. This country is going to burn. Because there are top secret things that should not be discussed in public life. So if you make the members look bad, they're going to counter the human beings. They've got families, they've got friends. They've been paraded as criminals in front of international TV. They were paraded when they were arrested. They were branded as bad people by these members of this parliament, some of them. They kept quiet. I didn't know the truth. They have evidence, Honorable Chair, conventional or otherwise, that they have, which if they were to present it, it would be a press briefing that would be worse than what Mkhwanazi did.
Right? Be careful what you ask for. Be careful whom you speak about if you don't know what you are saying. And he says no matter how they got that evidence, the fact is they have it, which brings us to this issue of cell phones being monitored. This is what he had to say about how crime intelligence keeps an eye on those who are wrongdoers.
So I needed to prevent that by warning that let's not hold back and allow that the very same executive authorities, parliamentarians, participate in the wrong. Honorable Chair, if you were to ask me, I will say maybe we must close down crime intelligence, remove everyone that is there, and start afresh, if you will. Because I know names within crime intelligence that are bad. They were there in 2011. They are still there today. We have family members of the Mhlulis of this world that are still controlling gadgets that are listening to all of you at crime intelligence. And that's what Kumar is trying to fix. What does he get in return? no, leave this thing alone. You are the bad one. And other members are comfortable because, not going to talk about benefits that comes with it. I feel that these things that we've put on this statement is just a tip of the iceberg.
The rot runs deep indeed. The reference there, of course, made to former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. And he's saying, look, his family members, his cronies, his appointees are still there running budgets. And some of you are comfortable with that because maybe you benefit from how all of that goes. The rot really, really runs deep. Don't know if you stayed up until 10:30, 11 last night watching the testimony at the ad hoc committee, the evidence being led there of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and I can't get enough of it, right? I can't get enough of it. I mean, you think you've heard it all, and there's more. And boy, oh boy. It is regrettable we couldn't get our expert from the DRC to talk to us about what's going on in the eastern DRC, but it would appear there are huge chunks of that country that are now de facto run by the M23 rebels, and many local residents are living in fear of their lives. But we just couldn't connect. Sometimes technology is what it is.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
Coming up, activists sharing their ordeal after being detained on that Gaza-bound flotilla. We're going to be speaking to two of them who are going to take us through what really happened at sea. All of that to come, of course, after this Eyewitness News brought to you by Khaliks. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi reveals more details about alleged police corruption. 2 MPs and Qatar and Turkey joined Gaza war peace talks. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo's arrest was a project to disrupt reforms in crime intelligence. He says the project included disbanding the political killings task team and was also aimed at stopping investigations in Gauteng. Mkhwanazi yesterday appeared before Parliament's ad hoc committee inquiry into alleged corruption in the criminal justice system. Babalo Ndenze reports.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi told the Madlanga Commission 2 weeks ago that Dumisani Khumalo's arrest was a planned move to curtail investigations into powerful crime syndicates. He repeated the claims in Parliament yesterday, adding that key reforms in crime intelligence were also part of the plan to disrupt investigations. Khumalo was arrested by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption in what Mkhwanazi described as a politically motivated move.
Khumalo's arrest is a project. It's a project to counter the criminal investigation in Gauteng. This letter of the minister, the close of the task team, it's a project that is aimed at stopping the criminal investigation in Gauteng.
Mkhwanazi also states that the political killings task team was a mistaken target because those implicated were under the wrong impression that it was also investigating crime in Gauteng. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Palapala burglary trial is expected to resume today with a new Oshiwambo court interpreter. Oshiwambo is an official Namibian language and it is the mother tongue of the 3 people accused, Emmanuela David, Froliana and Dilinasho Joseph. Court proceedings were cut short on Monday, with the accused saying the interpreter was incorrectly relaying the messages. The 3 accused are accused of breaking into President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm in 2020 and stealing $580,000 in cash. Tabiso Koba reports.
Emmanuela David, along with siblings Froliana and Dilinasho Joseph, are all South African citizens. During their bail applications, all 3 revealed they were born and raised in Bilabila, Limpopo. The town has a small but active Namibian community where the people speak Oshiwambo. Several times during this case, the accused have raised concerns over the Oshiwambo court interpreter. Magistrate Peter Mantata says it's in the interest of justice they are able to follow the court's proceedings.
I don't want to risk by proceeding with this matter, and at the end of the day or the whole trial, and the matter may be set aside on the basis of a very simple thing that this court could have addressed.
Today is the last day of the scheduled trial dates for this case. New data expected to be announced. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
6 activists released after being detained by Israeli forces are expected to return to South Africa this morning. They were part of 450 participants in the global flotilla arrested last week on their way to deliver much-needed aid in the besieged territory of Gaza. The International Relations Department confirmed that the group will touch down at OR Tambo International Airport today. Khomotso Modisa reports.
It's been a week since activists from around the world were captured while sailing through the Mediterranean to deliver aid to war-stricken Gaza. But after global outcry and reports of activists being held in inhumane conditions, this week the International Relations Department announced that the South Africans who were held would be released from detention and would be departing from Jordan. The group is expected to land at the OR Tambo International Airport this morning, with families, friends and supporters ready to welcome them. The International Relations Department will then lead a press conference with the activists. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
And Qatar's Prime Minister and Turkish delegates will join Hamas and Israeli negotiators in Egypt today for a third day of talks aimed at ending the Gaza war. Indirect negotiations are being held at the Red Sea resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh based on a 20-point plan recently proposed by US President Donald Trump. Yesterday marked an anniversary of Hamas-led attacks on Israel that killed more than 1,000 people and resulted in the abduction of more than 250 others. It was also the beginning of an unrelenting war on Gaza by Israel that has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians and displaced many more. Trump believes the war could be nearing its end.
It's been raging for a long time, and I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East. It's something even beyond the Gaza situation. We want a release of the hostages immediately, etc. And so our team is over there now. Another team just left, and other countries, literally every country in the world has supported the.
Gold is trading at $4,013.29 an ounce. The rand is at 17.24 to the dollar, 23.09 to the pound, 20.04 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.99 a barrel.
There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Mike 1 North between the Boysons Road exit and Empire Road. This is due to peak time delays there. The good news, though, is that accident that was on the Mike 1 North at the Crown turnoff has been cleared. Traffic remains a bit slow on the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown interchange.
And in your sport, questions raised over R360's clearance by World Rugby as SA Rugby joins forces with other unions in placing ban on players who make the switch to the new league. Shanghai Heat affects tennis players, and Shelly Ann Fraser-Price calls time on her career.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 15 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 16 and 30. Vereeniging 10 and 27. The top story in EWN this hour. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo's arrest was a project to disrupt reforms in crime intelligence.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Picture this, you're in the office preparing a big presentation for that important meeting and you accidentally spill coffee all over your crisp white shirt. Well, don't stress, because the emergency shirt service from Khaliks, you could have a brand new shirt delivered to your office in no time. All it takes is one phone call or a visit to khaliks.co.za. So next time you have a sartorial mishap, don't cry over spilt milk. Get the emergency shirt service from Khaliks, because accidents do happen. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock, more explosive testimony yesterday from the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. I think we can all agree that the rot runs so much deeper than any of us suspected. We knew there were problems with policing and law enforcement. We're all victims often enough of crime to know there's a problem. But the idea that there are all these networks and decisions are made with considerations that are absolutely against the national interest, I think that has been quite the revelation. So that ad hoc committee investigating corruption and political interference within SAPS will resume today, and we're going to expect more testimony, but it really was quite something. Whilst, of course, we think about all of that, yesterday there was another process. This is to select judges for vacancies in our top courts. And I want you to listen to this exchange yesterday. Academic Madumeja Kate Malepe, Dr. Madumeja Kate Malepe, who's vying for a position as a constitutional court, faced renewed scrutiny over allegations of the misappropriation of church funds and her ongoing debt rehabilitation. She's one of 6 candidates competing for 2 vacancies in the country's Apex Court. She was questioned yesterday by advocate Tembeka Ngukaitobi regarding allegations of the theft of funds from her church. And this is what she had to say. Have a listen to that exchange.
In 2023, you've disclosed in your CV that you were accused of theft of church funds. And then you also said that you were not found guilty, but you did not attach the finding of the Board of Inquiry that acquitted you.
I requested the church to provide me with a little bit of testimonial that shows that I was not found guilty in that case.
I'm not asking for the testimonial. I'm asking, the GCB is saying you did not attach the proceedings and the judgment that said you were not guilty. That's what they were complaining about.
But I think there are questions. I don't remember where they say I should attach proceedings. They said, actually they compared that with my debt review to say that it might affect my integrity, or it might, lure me into receiving bribes. And I think I made my point in that one.
This is somebody who would be a constitutional court judge. And let's listen to the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, who says he's now going to take legal action against Brown Mokgotsi for alleged defamation of character. This follows remarks Mokgotsi has made in television interviews on the sidelines of the Pop Crew Trade Unions committee meeting at Birchwood in Gauteng on Tuesday. So Fikile Mbalula says he's now going to take action.
The only person in the ANC constitution who account about membership, it's me, as the Secretary General. Who is Brian Mokgotsi to claim membership of the ANC when I'm telling him that he's not a member? And he says that he's a member. You can believe him as far as you can. The ANC statutes and constitution are clear that the Secretary General you pass here about your membership. I account to the National Executive Committee, to conference, to the officials and everybody else. And I have done the work and with my branch in Northwest, with the province. The guy is not a member. So who else is going to impose him or herself to the organization? There's nobody. He's not a member. And we've got no business of taking him anywhere because he's not a member of the ANC. And that is it. He's an associate. He's a hangers-on.
Have you had a phone stolen? You think that's something that only happens here in South Africa? UK police have dismantled, they are saying, a major gang accused of smuggling 40,000 stolen phones to China, accounting for nearly 40% of all mobile phones in London last year. The operation has led to multiple arrests and the seizure, as I say, of thousands of these devices after a discovery at Heathrow Airport exposed the international phone theft network. So they were stealing phones from London and shipping them off to China. Goodness knows what for.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
EWN Traffic.
13 minutes after 7, there are This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. There are delays in Randburg, Amo?
Yes, Bongani, due to an accident that was reported along the N1 North right near Malibongo Drive. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Beyers-Nadia Drive. If you're traveling along Malibongo Drive towards the N1, do expect heavier traffic volumes. This is due to peak time pressure. And in Kayasand, an accident along Malibongo Drive. This one, it's right near Epsom Avenue. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. In Fourways, we've got more delays on Winnie Mandela Drive approaching Leslie Avenue. That's due to peak time delays there. There's also queuing traffic along the Witgoppen Road in the Paulsof area just as you approach Rivonia Road. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 96. Your dog ate all your left shoes and you couldn't find a matching pair. Not the strongest excuse. Well, fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsman ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. So show them some love online using hashtag pointsmanlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Great news, travelers! FlySafair is now flying between Cape Town and Hoedspruit 3 times a week. So, whether you want to chase the Big Five in Kruger, soak up the views at God's Window, or wind through the beautiful panorama route, Hoedspruit is the perfect launch pad to some of SA's amazing natural treasures. Ready to go from coastlines to canyons in just a few clicks? Book flights now at flysafair.co.za from just 1,570 Rand. FlySafair, for the love of fly. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Professor Corne van Velbeek is a professor in the School of Economics at UCT and a director of the research unit on the economics of excisable products. Why do you believe we're not getting the tax money we should be getting from tobacco?
55 to 60% of cigarettes that are sold in South Africa are not taxed, which means that the fiscus is losing out. So each pack of cigarettes should have about 22 Rand 80 of excise tax placed on them.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
16 after 7, on to this now. Last week, Thursday, as the sun beat down on the Mediterranean, a fleet of boats cut through the waves, carrying food, medicine, and hope for a people trapped under siege. Hundreds of activists from over 40 countries sailed together, determined to deliver aid to Gaza. And then the mission turned into a nightmare. Israeli forces intercepted the global Sumud Flotilla, detaining dozens of civilians, including 6 South Africans, who are set to return to the country this morning, and even the international activist Greta Thunberg. Among them were Mandla Mandela, grandson of Nelson, and social activist Bashira Sumar. She wasn't just a participant, she was a member of the Global Organizing Committee and was aboard the Observer boat, a vessel tasked with documenting the mission and ensuring that it adhered to international law. But we've also got on the line somebody who's been on a previous mission and was detained similarly by the Israelis. This is Australian historian and activist Robert Martin. But I'll start with you, Bashira Sumar. A very good morning to you both and welcome to 702 Breakfast. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Bashira, just explain firstly your role on this global Sumud Flotilla in terms of the organizing committee. What was the main mission here?
Yes, so I mean, our main mission, if you want to put it in simple terms, was of course to break the siege. But there were many layers to that. First of all, we wanted to open up the humanitarian corridor. It's been months since any humanitarian aid has been allowed into the Gaza Strip, but that was our primary objective. The secondary objective was to open up a permanent humanitarian corridor through sea, through land, and ensure that that stays open. But ultimately, it's to break the siege, it's to end the occupation, it's to give Palestinians their self-determination back, and to finally liberate Palestine.
You were an observer on that boat, monitoring the flotilla. What actually happened?
Yes, so we had two observer boats, one legal observer boat, and we were the other observer boat. We were with the fleet up until just before interception. Our objective was to maintain a short distance behind, just to observe. We knew interception was very, very likely, and that maybe a few boats would make it to the Gaza shore and slip through, but we never expected that all of our boats would have easy or safe passage. And so our job was to observe the response basically by the Israeli authorities and the allies. So we were very close up until just before 100 nautical miles. In the first attempt, when we thought interception was happening, when the boats were moving between us, jamming our devices, we were with the fleet, but we weren't intercepted in that night. It only happened about 20 hours later when we did have to divert. Unfortunately, we diverted to Cyprus, but we were with the fleet up until then. We also had a few vulnerable people on our boat that, were being targeted in the media. And we knew that if we moved into the interception zone, we would put others in the mission at risk. So we diverted to Cyprus, but we documented a lot of what happened.
So you yourself weren't part of the team that was intercepted and detained, am I correct?
Yes, that's correct. We just before 100 nautical miles, we diverted along with the Shireen, which was the legal observer boat, and those two boats made their way into Cyprus about 24 hours later.
So from what you could observe, what happened when the Israeli forces stormed the flotilla that was intercepted?
Yeah. So I mean, look, I think the public had access to everything, and we did that on purpose. You had access to all the cameras on the boats, but from a perspective of actually being on the sea, we saw Navy vehicles coming at us. They were moving in between our fleet. It was very dark. They always do interception at night to throw us off, and it feels a little bit more, uncertain. But yeah, we saw the drones on top of our boats. They started hanging very low. We saw the Navy vehicles and the ribs coming in at boats. They were circling. They weren't trying to intimidate boats. They started using water cannons and pressurizing boats to switch off the engines. Of course, our people wouldn't switch off the engines. So they did that for a few hours, and one by one, they intercepted boats. It was very clear that they were out of their depth. They were not prepared. They even asked some of our people to jam their own devices for them. It looked like a bunch of children getting on boats, honestly. Like, they just had no cooking clue what they were doing. They didn't have the capacity, they didn't have the expertise. They just, I think the volume overwhelmed them. And that in itself is a learning for us, that if we go big, if we go with many boats, we have a good chance of bypassing them.
All right, let me bring Robert. I'm going to ask you to pause there for a moment, Bashira. Let me bring Robert, because you've been on this type of experience before. You weren't part of this flotilla, but you have been part of efforts to bring aid to Gaza before, and you have experience with being detained. Robert, can you tell us about your experience?
Just to say, confirm what Bashira said, the amount of boats that they had absolutely overwhelmed the Israelis. They did not know what to do. I was on a boat that had 21 people, and so it was a little bit easier for them. We believe that they had 14 small boats that actually helped get our boat to Ashdod. We saw them come on. They were pretty sophisticated. They got on our boat pretty easily. They've got small boats designed to bump up against you. We would have had 30 of them get on our boat, which is really overdoing it. We are obviously activists delivering food and medication and teddy bears and the hope of the world towards the Palestinians of Gaza. And they try and shatter that by carrying M16s and revolvers and all of these sorts of things to try and intimidate us and then stand over us. I also believe that we were gassed to have a crew of 21 that had been at sea for a while to fall asleep for around 8 to 10 hours with machine guns pointed at them is unheard of. I was the only one that stayed awake, and it's because I take a certain type of medication for mental health and other reasons that actually can counteract those sorts of drugs. And what I watched and what I witnessed was basically a guilty army. They looked like they were planting things. They were going in all sorts of areas. They were breaking up our aid. You know, they break up your aid, they smash it, and then they say you don't have any. So all of these types of things they do. They took our boat. It took 11 hours for us to get to occupied Palestine in Ashdod, where they had commandeered our vehicle. And commandeering a boat in international waters is technically kidnapping. And so we were kidnapped and then were human trafficked all the way into that particular area, where we then faced some very aggressive guards that were there basically to make our life hell, also to make our life never to go back. And that's the sort of thing that they're trying to do. And, you know, they mistreated the Samud people quite badly.
Robert,
we don't know the extent of all of the abuse yet. It will come out, and it'll come out over the next few days.
Robert, let me just find out.
There's another ship that has literally, as we've spoken, sorry.
Robert, just give me. Robert, just allow me to come in there. I need to know when you had your incident and for how long were you detained? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I was detained for, it was about 3.5, 4 days in maximum security prison, where we didn't get access to doctors. I didn't get my medication at all. We didn't get any outside time whatsoever. I didn't get any phone calls. I got strip searched numerous times in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night. They also told my government that I had been transferred into a different section because I had assaulted somebody. And what they wanted to do was to get false information out to my family to scare them, to try and stop me coming back. And so also our embassy also thought it was true. And they had to tell my family, I'm sorry to tell you that Robert has assaulted a soldier or an officer. We do not know where he is. And then they hid me for 24 hours.
When was your detention?
About 6 weeks ago. So 7 weeks ago. So the one directly before the Samud.
And in your time under detention, what sort of things happened to you? What were you told? What did they say?
We were told that we were terror supporters. They said, why don't you go to other countries to help children? I can't believe that you try and help Palestinians in Gaza because you hate Jews so much. I was also then told that they knew who I was. They had seen me in their country before, and that I couldn't be protected within the jail. I was then put into a cell with only one other person where everybody else was together. And that again was to try and get into my head. I was told that if we ever come back into that country, they will kill me. We were told all sorts of these things, but I was on, I refused to drink water. I refused to eat. The beds, as everybody says, have bed bugs, and they're enormous. They are very large. It's like they're almost bred to be there. Then there's cockroaches. The taps are either boiling hot or too cold. When you shower, your skin burns from an acidic way, not because it's too hot. And it's almost like it's built purposely to be this bad. And we also heard people screaming in the background from other areas, and we still don't know who they were or what they did. All we can do is assume that they were Palestinians getting mistreated, as they do every single day. I mean, Palestinians, if what can happen to us with a white passport, I can say, a white passport, an Australian passport, the things they did to us, I cannot imagine what they can do to the Palestinians. They can hide Palestinians for months and nobody has any right to get them.
All right,
it
Bashira,
is unacceptable.
Bashira, let me bring you back into the conversation. We're obviously expecting the South Africans who were taken to land back in the country this morning, and we certainly are trying to get them on the program. Can you tell us if you've been in contact with them at all and what their experience might be?
Sure. I'm actually in Amman, and I was here yesterday to welcome them. So So I was lucky enough to see them all. They will be arriving in Joburg in about 2 hours, so I'm sure they'll be met with a very warm reception. I'm still in Amman. We still have delegates here, so I'm helping them go home to their respective countries. I'm also still here because we have 6 people still inside that we aren't receiving any information on. 3 Norwegians, 1 Spanish, and sorry, I forget the nationality of the 2 Moroccans, and we are very concerned. So please amplify that in the media. We don't know why they are still there. The other flotilla has already been intercepted, and we're so worried that they might get lost in that crowd. So we really are doing everything we can to get them out. But the South Africans are I mean, you know, the spirit of South Africa, and Mandla was there, and we are unbroken. Everyone I met yesterday, we met over 100
But did they
participants
tell you?
coming out
Sorry,
into
Bashira.
Amman. They're all unbroken.
Bashira, did they tell you about the treatment they received?
They did. Much as it's aligned to what Robert just spoke about and what he experienced, and a lot of it was psychological as well. And I think they purposefully put things out in the media while our participants were still inside to get to us as well. But you know, they don't want to talk about the mistreatment they received because it's nothing compared to the Palestinians. And if anything, this has just motivated them so much more to go back. They are all ready to go back tomorrow because they cannot even fathom what Palestinians are going through in the prisons without anybody advocating for them. They are all unbroken. When you see them in South Africa, you know, Sumud means steadfast. They are so steadfast now.
Yes, indeed. We'll look forward to seeing them a little later on today. Robert, maybe you get the last word on this. Would you go back?
Go back, and part of what Israel doesn't realize is that the love for the Palestinians worldwide is far greater than our fear of them, and they are only building it and building it and building it, and Palestine will be liberated and Israel will be held to account. It's just a matter of time, and we will keep speaking. We will keep doing what we need to do. It's part of what humanity is today, and the gauge of humanity is with Palestine at the moment.
All right, appreciate both of you. Bashira Suma, part of the global organizing committee of that Sumud Flotilla, and Robert Martin, an Australian activist who was arrested and detained by the Israeli forces 6 weeks ago.
EWN Business.
Time now for business news. Potato farmers, Mateo, operating at a loss, prices plunging.
Yeah, consumers may be enjoying the drop in the price of potatoes, but it's becoming a nightmare for farmers. South African potato prices have plummeted, falling from 22 Rand 82 per kilo in October of 2023 to between 3 Rand 50 and 4 Rand per kilo currently. Now, according to Fresh Plaza, this is roughly 2 Rand below the average production cost and nearly 50% lower than the same period last year. The drop has been attributed to oversupply from increased planting and higher yields from bountiful harvests across the country. The slump in prices has farmers concerned as production costs are far outpacing profits, leaving them operating at a loss. According to projections from Potatoes SA, Limpopo alone is expected to contribute 12 million 10-kilogram bags of potatoes by the end of this year.
So, you make a potato recipe, you make a potato bake,
This is the time.
Smash potatoes.
Yeah, drive up that demand.
Potatoes. From farmers to consumers, we're a little bit more confident, we say, about our finances. Well, some of us.
Yeah, TransUnion has released another economic indicator in its third quarter 2025 Consumer Pulse study. It shows that 68% of South Africans are optimistic about their household finances in the next year, despite persistent inflationary pressures. But 36% expect to be unable to meet their bills and loan payments in full. Around 75% of South Africans expect their household income to increase by 2026, but many are still cautious about taking on new debt.
And of course, being targeted for fraud as well. That's an issue, Mateo. Where's the rand?
Rand at 17 Rand 26 against the US dollar, still weaker this morning. 20 Rand 4 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 9 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up more than 1% at a record high of $4,029 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,658. Brent crude at $65.86 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for the latest eyewitness news brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Now, if you're a motorist in the capital, Sfiso Zulu, what do you need to know?
Yeah, Bongani, good morning. There's a warning about several streets in the city that will be affected by protest action set to begin this morning. Christian advocacy group, the South African Church Defenders, will lead a march to the union buildings to oppose what it says are attempts at unconstitutional state control of the church. Spokesperson of the city, Isaac Mahamba, is urging road users to find alternative routes.
Motorists are advised to use alternative routes such as Pretoria Street, Nanasita Street and Boom Street. The marchers are expected to disperse from the union buildings at 14 p.m. in the afternoon. Tshwane Metro Police Department and South African Police Services officers will be deployed to monitor the march and all affected streets.
Joburg City Power says it's confident it will win its case against the Hawks in the High Court over recent raids at its headquarters. The matter was expected to be heard yesterday, but it was postponed to Friday to give the Hawks time to file their answering affidavits. City Power maintains the recent search and seizure operation carried out by the Hawks was unlawful, arguing that the warrants used were invalid. Spokesperson Isaac Mangena says the utility stands firm that the raid had no legal basis.
So we are confident that we will get this relief that we're seeking, and we will be able to cooperate with the Hawks in the execution of the investigation, as it were, something that we've already been doing since November last year.
Government has condemned the assault of a female officer who was attacked by two men in Kimberley. The pair attacked the constable while she was conducting crime prevention duties earlier this week. The men faced charges of assaulting a police official and resisting arrest. The attack was recorded on video that's been widely circulated on social media. Deputy Government spokesperson William Baloyi says the arrest must serve as a warning that any form of obstruction against officers of the law will not be tolerated.
An attack on a police officer is an attack on the rule of law itself. It undermines the stability and safety of our society and erodes the principles of respect and accountability on which our democracy stands.
And U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, chosen by President Donald Trump to lead the Department of Justice, has faced questions from Congress about political pressure on the department. Her testimony comes after Trump on social media pushed Bondi to investigate his political adversaries. Bondi is also facing questions over her decision not to release any more files relating to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, as well as the investigation of former FBI Director James Comey. The Justice Department has viewed as mostly independent under previous administrations, but Trump is being criticized for testing those boundaries.
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 10 and 15 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 30.
And in the traffic in the city of Tshwane, we've got an accident on the N1 North. It's right near Grasfontein Road. It's causing heavy delays. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic along the N4 West, approaching the Proof Plus interchange coming out of Linwood Road while traveling in Irene. Delays on the intersection of Nelmepius Drive and Main Road.
The top story, Tshwane motorists are warned about several streets in the city that will be affected by protest action set to begin this morning.
54-year-old Amos isn't one to miss out on a bargain. So when Outsurance gave him a premium of only 1,004 Rand a month on his 2024 GWMP series, it was a no-brainer. And 55-year-old Andre jumped on the deal when Outsurance gave him a premium of just 776 Rand a month for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser. Get ready to get more out of your car insurance. SMS out to 45142 today. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba iron ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Your workday calls for more performance, more doing the impossible, more challenge accepted. Your weekends demand more excitement, more detours, more limitless living. And the new GWM P300 LS is where it all comes together. Bring it on in the new P300 LS with a 2.4 turbo diesel and 12.3-inch touchscreen from only 5,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. Tune in this Friday on 702 Breakfast for the G20 Correspondence Desk. And it's brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get the views, the news, the insights, the breakthroughs. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. Brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. Morning to the team. Morning to the 702 listeners. Yes, I was listening to the General Kwanas there by the ad hoc committee when he's saying that he's not a politician, but you are leading a political tax killing team. So how can you not be in politics when you are leading a political tax team? Because you have to know about politics before you lead that kind of a task team. It's all about politics. So I totally disagree with him. Thanks, Junior from Windsor West.
Yeah, come on. You can study politics. It doesn't mean you're a politician, right? You can lecture politics. It doesn't mean you're a politician. You can read a political biography. Does that make you now a politician? His job was, it's a political killings task team. They were actually investigating the killings. Focus on the word killings, right? It could have been a taxi killings task team. Does that now mean he's qualified to be a taxi driver or a taxi boss? It was the killings that they were looking at, the killing of politicians. We've seen that rife in KZN, and that's what they were focusing on. I don't think that necessarily then means he's now ready to become a politician. Let's apply ourselves a little more as we think about these things.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask for Outsurance for 500 Rand. Let's get to today's answer. Lungelo has it. Lungelo, you're in Sandton. What's today's answer, please?
1985.
1985. And Lungelo, tell me, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I do.
You biscuit. How about 1,000 Rand coming your way? Thanks to 702 and Outsurance. There you have it. Lungelo says the answer is 1985. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
17 minutes before 8 o'clock. We welcome back, of course, Anthony Teixeira, who is in for Cindy Paluta. All right, I've got to ask you about this R360, Anthony. It reminds me of Kerry Packer's cricket rebellion in the 70s. What's at play here, and why are all these rugby unions so opposed to it?
I mean, the reality is the future of rugby as it is at play, because you have the owners of 360, right? It's fronted up by Mike Tindall, the former player that won the World Cup with England in 2003. And you have various groups behind it, including FSG, who owned Liverpool, and Man United's owners, the Glaziers. So we know that given the fact that all of them are involved, and this is going to be a private...
Big money.
We're talking massive money.
So players now going to have to choose for money or for country?
Yeah, potentially. That's going to be the real question. And it's going to be a lot less in terms of the workload for players. Think of it as there was the breakaway league between the PGA and Live Golf.
Yeah.
And so it'll be less time on the field, less training, less impact on your body with more money. And then, the idea is that they're going to be taking it around the world, the same way that like the World Series works for the Sevens.
Look, it's a very interesting concept to think about it in terms of, say, golf, right, where you're rooting for an individual player. Many of these players are famous in their countries of origin because they play for the national teams. Will it be as exciting? It remains to be seen. All right, so tell me, how many of these unions have reacted?
Well, so far we've seen the South African, New Zealand, Australian, as well as the Six Nations, excluding Wales, having drawn the line in the sand over players thinking of making the switch to the upcoming league, R360. In a joint statement, they formally asserted that players who join the global franchise will be ineligible for international selection. Among issues of player welfare, they say the model of the R60 is designed to share generated profits with the small elite few. The unions have also shared the competition doesn't have approval from World Rugby. R360 proposes a change to the way the sport is run, with 8 men's and 4 women's teams set to compete in a series of events held across the globe. Let's move now to tennis, where Holger Rune has been the loudest to question the viability of the continued Shanghai Masters. While receiving treatment by a doctor and a physio, he questioned the officials if they wanted a player to pass away on court. Temperatures have reached as high as 34 degrees, with humidity at 80% during the daytime when they are playing. While in cricket, England have picked up a 4-wicket win at the Women's World Cup against Bangladesh in a low-scoring event. Bangladesh were bowled for 178. Then in response, Heather Knight dragged the English to the target with the 79 not out. Here's captain Nate Skipper-Brunt.
I think before the tournament we spoke as a group. Not everything's going to be easy all the time. It's going to look a little bit gritty, and we'll need some resilience certainly in our skills and in the way we go about things. So we did what we had to do to get over the line. It could have looked a bit better, but we're really happy to be on the winning side.
And legendary sprinter Shelly Ann Fraser-Price has officially retired from the track. The Jamaican ends as the most decorated 100-meter sprinter in history, with 2 Olympic golds as well as 5 world titles in the event, as well as several 4x100-meter medals. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. And as Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses, and coughs. It's time to live, work, play, and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex, and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. There are delays all around the capital. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. We've got an accident reported on the N1 North. It's right near Gaza Road. Delays from the Flying Saucer interchange. And if you are traveling in Irene, do remember that we've got delays along Nelme Pierce Drive and Main Road. That intersection is heavily backed up. There's also queuing traffic along the N4 West due to peak time delays between Linwood Road and the Proof Plus interchange. If you are traveling on the N3 both directions, we've got heavy delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic on the N17 East in the Boksburg area approaching Rondebolt Road. That's due to roadworks taking place along that route. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seat, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is 1985, let's go to Jody, Northgate. Jody, what's the question?
In which year on this date was famous singer Bruno Mars born?
Yes, indeed. He's one of the biggest stars in the world right now, inspired by Michael Jackson and so many others who went before him. Great vocalist, great dancer, great songwriter and producer. Jody?
Yes.
That means you, my friend. Yes, you, Jody, there by Northgate, have won yourself 2,000 Rand in cash.
Yay!
All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Yay! Love that happiness.
What we're feeling inside right now. So baby, let's just turn down the lights and close the door. Ooh, I love that dress, but you won't need it anymore. No, you won't need it no more. Let's just kiss till we're naked, baby. Versace on the floor.
IKG, you see, now you're doing it. Hey?
Versace on the floor. Ooh, take it off for me now, girl.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that video to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 48-year-old Felicity, who now pays a low 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. With Outsurance, you get the legendary out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. SMS out to 45142. Make today the day you switch and get more out. After switching, 31-year-old Palisa now pays only 926 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Sonet. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, you can ask for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
For news on South African industry and mining, Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly has you covered. Click through to Creamer Media's Engineering News each day for the latest on the people and companies shaping the energy transition and South African industry. Keep your finger on the critical minerals pulse by visiting Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. For deeper insight, subscribe to the Engineering News and Mining Weekly magazine, out on Fridays. Creamer Media, current, credible, comprehensive.
The stage, the lights, the crowd.
everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with events liability insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on events liability insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
One of the interesting things, and I love your first story about, I suppose, relationships, is that the two partners are not necessarily always the same.
No, and maybe sometimes if you are introverted and you're with an extrovert, they can maybe bring that out of you a little bit, or perhaps not. But you make it work and you balance things out perfectly fine. So I've been seeing a couple of these videos on TikTok, and it's about asocial behavior from significant others. So maybe you can relate if you are that person or you have a partner who is asocial. So you go to a function, a party, whatever it may be, and you go and together and the partner says hello to everybody. And then half an hour later, you look for your partner and they are by themselves. They may be sitting alone in the lounge area or outside on the patio area, just because they prefer to be by themselves. They don't like the crowd around them, etc., etc. So I wonder how you navigate that as a couple. Is it difficult to go with somebody that is asocial, where they like to be by themselves, they don't really like to mingle with people? Or is it just, that's who they are and it's acceptable, and most of your close circle understand that that person is like that? So I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that this morning. How do you navigate a relationship where the other person is very introverted, asocial, and doesn't like to be around lots of people? I was at a party not too long ago where a person had brought their significant other. This person said hello, and then I spoke to this person, and he was like, "Yo, I'm actually just going to go chill by myself. I'm used to this, and I like to be by myself." So I was like, "Oh, okay, good for you." And off he went, and I watched. And for the majority of the evening, this person sat by themselves and enjoyed their own company.
I think also, let's be clear, there's a difference between being antisocial and being asocial, right? When you're asocial, you just don't have an interest in being around, or at least in social interaction, you prefer being alone. Whereas when you're antisocial, that's a very different thing. You're hostile, perhaps even harmful in terms of your interactions. So how do you deal? You this bubbly. So I have this difficulty. Contrary to what people might assume about me, I go to social events or gatherings, and by the end of the evening, my energy is spent. So I'm one of those people who's the first to leave.
Is just depleted.
Yeah. So I need to go and be on my own to go and recharge and then gear up, right? So I might arrive and be all loud and hyper, but by the end of that evening, my social bundles get depleted minute by minute by minute by minute by minute. And so it's this duality of, I'm able to be extroverted and interact with people, but at the same time, I know that I run out of social bundles. So how do you navigate that? You're in a relationship, you're an extrovert, you love being around people, you draw your energy from social interactions. Your partner, on the other hand, couldn't be bothered. How do you navigate social interactions in such a relationship? Let us know.
702.
702.
Feedback
With Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Which are you? Are you the extrovert? Are you the introvert? Or are you something in between?
I think I'm something in between. I do enjoy social events, but I have to mentally prepare myself. If I have to go to a big gathering, I have to analyze, how big is this gathering? How many people are going to be there?
You're not one of those people who asks who's coming when you get an invitation. There's no question that irritates me more. You either want to come because, I mean, what do you mean who else is coming?
I don't ask those questions, but I have to prepare myself.
What are you preparing for?
For the interactions, for the crowd that's going to be there, because I also feel depleted at the end of an event,
Do you
which
leave
is why
early
I'll
or
go.
do you leave late?
It depends on what happens while we're there. But then after that specific event,
Yeah.
I won't go to another one for quite some time.
Okay.
Just to recharge. I need that much time.
And do you say goodbye or do you sneak out?
It's never good to say goodbye, I think. I think it's better you just sneak out.
Yeah.
Because utlo bora bana ba bang.
Yes, because
others want
then
to.
other people start wanting to leave as well, or they
Yes.
think that, I mean,
Yeah.
like if it's Amo's thing, I don't want to go and say goodbye because now
Yeah.
everyone's going to think, okay, if Moyane is leaving, maybe it's time for us to leave. And then Amo will be upset with me.
Mhm.
But often Amo is upset with me for not saying goodbye. It's like, you can't win.
Amo.
All right, what feedback do you have?
Well, Bongani, people are reacting to your question about how
Sleep,
they
hey?
sleep, yes.
Yeah.
And many are saying that they do find it easy to fall asleep quite easily. They get their 8 hours. It's fine. But some people are saying that if they sleep for too long, they feel exhausted during the
Yes,
day.
that can also happen.
That can also
Yeah.
happen. Others are also saying that just a few hours of rest will do for them. They don't need that much time to sleep. Some patterns that are also showing up are people who like to sleep after midnight, which is
I don't know. It could never be me.
midnight.
Forget even doing this job. It could never be me.
No, me too. It could never be me. I also need approximately 8 hours. So with this job, I have to sleep at around 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock latest. We should be in bed.
If I'm up after 8, I'm pushing it. I'm pushing my luck.
You
see
are.
me online. 'Cause
You
people
are.
watch
And
our
you do that
WhatsApps.
sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And that's it from my feedback.
All right,
Bongani.
coming up, we're going to be talking to Discovery Insure about why sleep matters and the impact on public health. They've done some research and they've got about 47 million sleep records. And those show that poor sleep, in fact, badly affects your health. All kinds of risks, from diabetes to heart disease to depression and obesity. We're going to be speaking to the CEO of Discovery Insure about that. And of course, it's a Wednesday, so another corporate that cares, the CEO of Investec South Africa, is going to be with us.
This is EWN.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has revealed more details about alleged police corruption to MPs, and Joburg Water turns to boreholes as it tries to save the precious resource. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo's arrest was a project to disrupt reforms in crime intelligence. He says the project included disbanding the political task teams or killings task team and was also aimed at stopping investigations in Gauteng. Mkhwanazi yesterday appeared before Parliament's ad hoc committee inquiry into alleged corruption in the criminal justice system. Babalondenza reports.
Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi told the Madlanga Commission 2 weeks ago that Dumsani Khumalo's arrest was a planned move to curtail investigations into powerful crime syndicates. He repeated the claims in Parliament yesterday, adding that key reforms in crime intelligence were also part of the plan to disrupt investigations. Khumalo was arrested by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption in what Mkhwanazi described as a politically motivated move.
Khumalo's arrest is a project. It's a project to counter the criminal investigation in Gauteng. This letter of the minister at the close of the task team, it's a project that is aimed at stopping the criminal investigation in Gauteng.
Mkhwanazi also states that the political killings task team was a mistaken target because those implicated were under the wrong impression that it was also investigating crime in Gauteng. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Palapala burglary trial is expected to resume today with a new Oshiwambo court interpreter. Oshiwambo is an official Namibian language and is the mother tongue of the three accused, Emanuela David, Froliana, and Ndi Linasho Joseph. Court proceedings were cut short on Monday, with the accused saying the interpreter was incorrectly relaying the messages. The three are accused of breaking into President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm in 2020 and stealing 580,000 $1,000 in cash. Tabiso Goba reports.
Emanuela David, along with siblings Froliana and Delinasho Joseph, are all South African citizens. During their bail applications, all three revealed they were born and raised in Bilabila, Limpopo. The town has a small but active Namibian community where the people speak Oshivambo. Several times during this case, the accused have raised concerns over the Oshivambo court interpreter. Magistrate Peter Mantata says it's in the interest of justice they are able to follow the court's proceedings.
I don't want to risk by proceeding with this matter, and at the end of the day or the whole trial, and the matter may be set aside on the basis of a very simple thing that this court could have addressed.
Today is the last day of the scheduled trial dates for this case. New data expected to be announced. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Joburg Water says it loses 33% of its water volumes, mainly to illegal connections at informal settlements and leaks. In response to the crisis causing persistent water outages around the city, the utility is plotting a borehole system at selected informal settlements. Yesterday, the utility, in partnership with Wits University, unveiled the system at the Waterworks informal settlement in the south of Joburg, where drilling has begun. Jabuli Lembata was there.
The Waterworks informal settlement is one of 9 that will be getting a borehole, including other areas such as Lenasia and Soweto. Joburg Water says this will help with losses of water and help reservoirs recover at the rate that they should, and ultimately supplying water regularly. Joburg Water Managing Director Nchabe Nimgwebo says this informal settlement had been given tankers to get them to stop connecting illegally.
The issue there that worries us is not only the theft of water, it is also the issue that when that theft of water happens, it disturbs the system.
However, resident Kele Tumbele says they also had issues with the tankers.
At times, the tanks are empty, or they don't even come to the community to refill. And even when they do come, the water finishes quickly because there are so many people here.
She says this project has brought hope to the community, knowing their right to water will be protected. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Soweto.
And Qatar's Prime Minister and Turkish delegates will join Hamas and Israeli negotiators in Egypt today for a third day of talks aimed at ending the Gaza war. Indirect negotiations are being held at the Red Sea resort town of Shamir al-Sheikh based on a 20-point plan which was recently proposed by US President Donald Trump. Yesterday marked the anniversary of Hamas-led attacks on Israel that killed more than 1,000 people and resulted in the abduction of more than 250 others. It was also the beginning of an unrelenting war on Gaza by Israel that has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians and displaced many more. Trump believes the war could be nearing its end.
It's been raging for a long time, and I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East. It's something even beyond the Gaza situation. We want a release of the hostages immediately, etc. And so our team is over there now. Another team just left, and other countries, literally every country in the world has supported the.
Gold is trading at $4,013.29 an ounce. The rand is at 17.24 to the dollar, 23.09 to the pound, 20.04 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got roadworks along the N17 East. This is in the Boksburg area, right near Rondebult Road, causing delays. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 West due to an accident reported near the Rondebult Road exit. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, Amajitsa to front up against Colombia in first World Cup knockouts in 16 years. Australia, Pakistan are your ODI for the day at the Women's World Cup, and the Spar Proteas are looking to end a 47-match losing streak to Australia.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 30. The top story in EWN this hour. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo's arrest was a project to disrupt reforms in crime intelligence.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast. We're taking your calls on 011-8830-702. And of course, your WhatsApp voice notes on 072-702-1702. We are keeping an eye on those activists arriving in South Africa. It's got to be in the next hour or so, those detainees of that flotilla on the Mediterranean. A little earlier, we spoke to an Australian activist who himself was detained by Israeli forces in a similar fashion just weeks ago, and somebody who was part of the Observer mission. You remember, of course, that global Sumud flotilla went on the Mediterranean, setting sail from Barcelona just last week. The activists were arrested and detained, and they're expected back in the country. I don't know about public relations all that much, but I can't imagine the headline any country around the world wants is that they've detained the grandson of Nelson Mandela, who was participating in a political protest. Right? Of all the grandchildren in all the world, you go and choose Mandela's grandchild. I don't know much about PR, but I know that much.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Did you watch the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi speaking to members of Parliament and talking about that project of disbanding the political killings tasked for some to handle? It made for riveting viewing, I tell you. And we, of course, have been playing clips throughout the morning from some of that. And it's a really, really big reveal, I think, to what has been happening in terms of our law enforcement. I think many South Africans horrified at what it is we are hearing. If you've got reactions from that, I'd love to hear those as well. And Kabazela wants to know if you're in a relationship with somebody who is asocial, an altogether different thing from somebody who's anti-social, right? Asocial, they're not interested. You know them, which is presumably why you've chosen them, right? And they're perfectly lovely. They just don't care all that much for social interactions. And you do. Right, Amo? Are you looking at me with the eyes of, I can relate? Because we know you're a social butterfly.
I am. And my husband is in between. There's moments where he's asocial. He wants to be just by himself, but with me at the event. And there's moments where he's antisocial. He's within the group, but he's not talking much. He's just keeping to himself. And you might see it as if he's not happy or he's not... but he's happy to be there. It's just he's not,
That's when he's being asocial.
Yeah.
Antisocial, he wants to harm the people. No.
Okay, well,
Please don't start.
But he's somewhere between the two, and I feel sorry for people who go out with me most of the times, because I'm that one who stands up on the tables, who starts the dancing floor. I'm the one who talks to, people that I'm just meeting for the first time. So I feel sorry for people who go out with me, because
that's what we
I'm
love
a
about
lot.
you. That's what we love about you, that you are a lot. Muteo?
I think
more... are you the asocial one?
I think I'm in between. It depends who we hang out with. I take time to warm up to people. Yeah. Once you get to know me, you'll get to see, what I'm really about. But in the beginning, I'm not going to be in your face. I still need to assess first who I'm dealing with, and then I'll open up.
All right, so if you've got a partner that's entirely different from you in terms of their social interaction styles, how are you navigating that?
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Hi, Bongani. Johannes from Pretoria. Well, I only sleep after 12 midnight, and 3 hours, max 4 hours. That's it. And it's been years, like I'm talking about 10 to 15 years, it's been like that.
Morning, Bongani and the breakfast team. Yeah, I'm like Mateo. I really struggle to fall asleep at night. And then I have 2 handicapped daughters that sleep in the room with us. The one snores aggressively, so I spend a lot of time awake. And then I'm up at 4 in the mornings for work. I also have a mum that's 88-year-old in Cape Town. Me and my 3 sisters look after her, but try to get her to come and stay by me, but she just says the altitude is not good. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for the show, and this is Jimmy from Pretoria.
Hi, Bongani and the team. I think the lifestyle at times, makes you sleep well, because if you eat well, you exercise, And with me, I eat my supper before 6. At times, I eat my supper at 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I mean, I retired, so I don't see any reason why I must eat late or cook late. So it helps a lot. So I don't have a problem in sleeping. At times, I can sleep for even 10 hours if nothing wakes me up. And I can't sleep anytime after 10. I don't know when last did I sleep at 10 o'clock. I just fall asleep. I don't know. So that's Veronica from Springview. Bye-bye.
Morning, Bongani. My name is Henry Busma Vimbela from Jabulani, Soweto. I don't sleep at all. Oh, God, help us all.
Well, listen, we're going to find out from Discovery about their new research. But as we prepare to do so, I want you to listen to Dr. Matthew Walker, who is a sleep expert. He was speaking on the Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. This is a podcast. This is from a couple of years ago. And he was discussing why it matters that you get your full night's sleep.
Sleep, I would argue, is the single most effective thing that you can do to reset your brain and body health. And I don't say that flippantly. It's not as though I'm dismissing exercise or diet. Those two things are absolutely critical. But if I were to take you, the individual, and deprive you of exercise for a day, deprive you of food for a day, deprive you of water for a day, or deprive you of sleep for a day, 24 hours, and I were to map your brain and body impairments, it's not even a competition. So sleep, to me, I think, is the elixir of life. It is your life support system. And as best we can tell, I would argue it's Mother Nature's best effort yet at immortality.
EWN Traffic.
14 after 8, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Bongani, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the N3, both directions between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange due to roadworks along this route. Please be on the lookout there. There's also roadworks on the N17 East in the Boksburg area approaching Rondebolt Road, causing delays there. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, we've got bumper-to-bumper traffic due to peak time pressure between Boysons and Car Street. In the city of Tshwane, that accident we spoke about earlier, still there on the N1 North near Gasfontein Road, causing delays coming out of the Flying Saucer interchange. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story is different, and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrests. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive, and experience the Audi A5 from just 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za for more. T's and C's apply. Brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services South Africa, Pty Limited, and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for the microwave to beep. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Suzuki Jimny, 55-year-old Stefan now pays only 611 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Kia Sonet, 31-year-old Palisa pays just 926 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You might not always notice us, but your safety is our priority. From the moment you step out of your home, drop your child at school, or arrive at work, when you trust someone to cut a new set of keys or attend a packed stadium event. From VIP protection to safeguarding goods and property, your security matters to us. Choose wisely. Choose right. Only use CIRA accredited security service providers. CIRA, safer homes, safer businesses, safer communities.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. So tune in this Friday on 702 Breakfast for the G20 Correspondence Desk, brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. The latest news, views, insights, and breakthroughs. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
18 after 8, on to this now. When last did you get your full 8 hours of sleep? We've been talking about it all morning because sleep, I suppose, isn't just the feeling of waking up and feeling that you are rested. It actually has a lot to do with your health, your mood, your ability to focus, even something that might seem as arbitrary as how you drive on the road. Discovery Insure has been tracking how South Africans sleep, and they've got some information. They've looked at 47 million sleep records, and they're saying that poor sleep affects all sorts of areas of your health and the risk of diabetes, obesity, depression, heart disease. So sleep matters. And joining us in the studio at the moment, we've got Robert Atwell, who is the CEO of Discovery Insure. Robert, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Bongani, morning, and morning to your listeners.
All right. Well, firstly, how well do you sleep at night?
I sleep relatively well. I consider myself a good sleeper. I do have 2 young children, which makes sleeping a little bit more complicated. But sleeping is personal, and everyone has their own sleeping journey.
Why does sleep matter?
Sleep is absolutely critical. I mean, we spend a third of our lives sleeping, and for some reason, we don't consider ourselves good sleepers as a society or as a human race. But sleep has significant impacts on long-term health, and then of course we see immediately the night after you sleep, it impacts how you drive.
We've been asking 702 landers all morning to tell us how they sleep, some well, some not so much. There are people, of course, who have just accepted that they're insomniacs or they don't sleep all that well or for that long. I suppose let's start there. Does it matter how long you sleep, and does it all have to be in one session? In other words, what if I get my 8 hours through a combination of an afternoon nap and my sleep at night? Does that make a difference?
Certainly. So the Vitality research has really categorized good quality sleep in terms of 3 key components. The first is duration, so making sure that you sleep between 7 and 9 hours every single night. There are, of course, outliers. There are very few people in society who can cope with very little sleep, and there's some people that require more sleep than that. Then there's this concept of regularity. It's going to bed every night within 1 hour of your typical bedtime. That's really important in terms of long-term health and driving outcomes. And then in terms of quality of sleep, making sure you get deep and REM sleep. So at least 1 hour of REM sleep every night is really critical. So if you can get good quality sleep across those 3 dimensions, you consider a really good sleeper with better outcomes for long-term health.
And for all those of us who don't have fitness devices that measure that kind of thing, just explain what REM sleep is again.
Sure. So this is your rapid eye movement sleep. So in terms of really the deepest state of sleep, it's highly restorative. Your brain is quite active, but it's critical in terms of your sleep cycles that you get some REM sleep.
All right. There are many people who, in fact, thrive on the idea that they don't sleep for very long. We've seen 1 or 2 political leaders around the world, including a former president of ours, who used to brag about not sleeping very much because they could get a long, or at least a lot of work done overnight. What are the long-term effects of poor sleep?
Bongani, in terms of long-term effects, we see a significant impact on morbidity and mortality, and we see a 22% increase in all risk mortality, which is really significant. So by sleeping less and maybe having more awake hours now, you're shortening your life really in the long term. And then, of course, in terms of driving, we see the same thing. To give you a sense, if you have poor duration and regularity of sleep, your risk of having an accident the next day is more than 30% higher compared to your counterparts who have slept well.
Gosh, what do you say to people who struggle, firstly, to fall asleep?
Yeah, Bongani, we recognize that. We see that a lot of people for various reasons, whether it's a young family or stages in life or going through grief or disease, do struggle to fall asleep. I think the first point of advice would be start with sleep regularity. Try to get to bed at the same time and ensure you have good sleep hygiene. There's a lot around making sure you don't have access to blue light late at night, have blackout curtains, switch off your devices an hour before you go to bed, stop drinking coffee from about lunchtime. That's probably one of the hardest. Avoid caffeine. So there are a few very controllable things you can do to improve your sleep to begin with. And then secondly, have awareness. Understand your sleep patterns. Know what works for you. Know what doesn't work for you and what impacts your sleep.
And I mean, are things like, I don't know, taking a relaxing bath or a shower before you go to bed, do those things help? Are there practical things you can do that will make the process of falling asleep easier once you get into bed?
Definitely. A warm bath or a warm shower before bed definitely helps. It helps with your body temperature changing and getting you to sleep much faster. I mean, another key one is actually, we spoke about naps earlier. Naps are dangerous. Naps are dangerous. They are great to have. A short nap is beneficial. A very long nap impairs your ability to have a really good night's rest kind of later on if you can't fall asleep.
Why are naps dangerous?
Just in terms of compromising a full night of rest. So if you can have a controlled nap, I mean, that sounds bizarre because we consider naps being this really kind of loose concept. But if you nap for 4 hours in the afternoon and you end up not being able to fall asleep, that is not a great nap.
4 hours is no longer a nap.
Correct.
What's an ideal time to nap?
Yeah, I mean, we would say probably not longer than an hour.
Not longer than an hour. So for those who are members of Discovery, for example, either the medical scheme or insurance, etc., having all of this data on your members, people might worry, hang on, if you know I sleep poorly, does that now affect what you will say yes to?
Bongani, it's a great question. So when we were working through the benefit changes for Discovery, our focus was on enhancing the program and making sure people don't get penalized for poor sleep, just because we're aware of the nuances. So our approach is sleep is deeply personal. You're going to get a personal goal based on your personal circumstances. But more than that, we're going to reward you more for sleeping well. And we're not going to be using sleep to penalize you at all through any of the insurance value chain.
So when do I know it's just poor sleep, or actually I might have a medical condition that I need to consult about?
Yeah, so through our personal health pathways, we can see if you have consistent poor sleep. I mean, everyone has a bad night every now and then, but if you're doing everything right in terms of sleep hygiene and you're still not able to achieve good quality sleep, you should see your healthcare practitioner.
Glass of milk before bed? Is that a myth? Warm milk, they say?
Yeah, I mean, my personal view is if it works for you, you should definitely have a glass of milk. I think there are just personal heuristics that help everyone. I mean, I enjoy a cup of chamomile tea before bed. Sometimes it's even just mental, right? Taking the worry about not being able to sleep away if you believe that works for you.
So ultimately, what are you offering people who are part of Discovery in terms of the research that you've put together, and how can all of this help the public?
So if you're a Vitality member, you can now earn additional Vitality points for sleeping well. Through Discovery Health, through personal health pathways, you can earn rewards, Discovery Miles specifically, if you sleep well. And then for Discovery Insure, we've enhanced our program to give you more fuel rewards if you sleep well. Interestingly, for driving behavior, sleep debt is what drives the most motor vehicle accidents. That's when you have multiple nights of poor sleep in a row. And we've designed the program that if you have consecutive nights of good sleep, you get a significant amount of additional rewards just for sleeping well.
Robert Atwell, the CEO of Discovery Insure, thank you and good night.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
That will be for later, Robert. That will be for later. Adam, let's get into news from elsewhere in the world. Start with this murder in an Albanian court.
Yeah, inside the court, which just should not happen, should it? And the murder of a judge called Astrid Kalaja. He was presiding over a property dispute case when essentially the accused opened fire. How the gun got into court, nobody has any idea, but the judge died from his injuries later, having been rushed to hospital. Two other people were also shot in this incident, a father and son, shot and injured. Local media reported the gunman as being a guy called Elvis Shikembe. Albania's general prosecutor says it strikes at the foundation of justice and the functioning of the legal system. You can say that again. It just should not happen, should it?
Talk to me. I mean, we've got our own issues with FIFA, but what has Malaysia done?
They have falsified citizenship documents, is what a FIFA investigation has found. 7 foreign-born players qualified as being Malay and took part in Malaysia's 4-0 win against Vietnam in June. There were some complaints. Yes, the Vietnamese had a thing or two to say, but so did other observers. And football's world governing body has now fined and suspended the players and released a report basically saying to the Football Association of Malaysia, don't do that, it's cheating. In fact, that is the exact quote. It is pure and simple a form of cheating. The FA of Malaysia actually blamed an administrative error. Doesn't that sound like the worst excuse in the world? It was an admin error. Nothing to do with us falsifying birth certificates.
Never. What, is that a bear in the background? Why was the wife screaming?
An American scientist, Fred Ramsdell, heard his wife screaming and thought it was a bear. They'd been in bear country in the wilds of Wyoming, and he thought, oh, grizzly bears come too close or something like that. The truth is they'd been off grid for a while, so no phones, but they were walking back to their car when the wife turned on her mobile, and there was an unread message informing Fred Ramsdell that he had won a Nobel Prize. So a shared Nobel Prize, as it happens, with 2 other scientists. But Thomas Perlman from the National Nobel Assembly had been trying to reach him for several days, hence the message, hence the wife screaming. Not the first time, though, that a Nobel Prize winner has ignored a message or not noticed one. Bob Dylan famously ignored the message telling he'd won a Nobel Prize for Literature for several weeks. I wonder if Bob Dylan screamed in a kind of Bob Dylan-esque kind of way.
Hopefully we'll never Melania screaming because somebody has won a Nobel Prize. We'll leave it there for this morning's Worldview with Adam Gilchrist.
EWN Business.
All right, let's wrap up business news for this morning. Mateo Jorepe, Data Tech expecting profit to more than double.
Yeah, the ICT firm is expecting profits to surge by 104%. All divisions of Data Tech boosted the strong financial performance. Company shares were up 11% on the JSE. Its business unit in Latin America, Logicalis, delivered an improved performance compared to the same period last year. Data Tech expects the trend towards higher software sales to continue, improving the group's margins and cash flow.
It's not just good news for them, but also Afrimat.
Yeah, mining and materials group Afrimat is expecting a surge in earnings. Headline earnings per share there expected to be between 90 and 95% for the 6 months ended in August. The group says the rise in earnings is due to improvements in sales volumes, particularly in local iron ore, and the recovery in the market share. Now, construction materials recorded a significant improvement in sales volumes with the rise in operations at Lafarge. Its cement business is also expected to record some losses.
Where's the rand?
17 Rand 24 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 4 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 9 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,030 an ounce, or platinum, is also up more than 1% at $1,647. Brent crude at $65.95 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotas to take care of business later this afternoon.
Thank you, Mutero. Up next, it's another corporate that cares. Investec will tell you how they've been shaping young minds, shaping South Africa's future for 20 years. In the meantime, it's straight to the news desk. Good morning again. Sifiso Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Residents at an informal settlement downtown Johannesburg say they are worried about being evicted. Metro Police are searching people's homes this morning at the Homestead informal settlement. Earlier this year, the city conducted a cleanup operation with a plan of evicting the occupants, but it emerged that officials didn't have alternative accommodation for the residents as required by law. This resident says they are worried.
There are so many people here. There are JMPD members, the City Park Rangers, Home Affairs as well. If they kick us out, we have nowhere to go. We will be homeless.
3 people have been killed in Cape Town in the latest string of violent crimes. Police say the men in their 20s were shot at an informal settlement in Gugulethu yesterday. Police spokesperson Andre Trout.
Unknown gunmen opened fire on the victims at around 6:30 before fleeing the scene. Detectives from the Provincial Serious and Violent Crime Unit are investigating the circumstances and pursuing all leads to trace the suspects.
Candidates hoping to be appointed to the country's superior court will continue to field tough questions from the Judicial Service Commission this morning as interviews enter their second day. The interviews have been scheduled for the next 2 weeks for the Constitutional Court, the Supreme Court and the Labour Court and High Courts. Yesterday, 5 candidates appeared before commissioners with the hope of being appointed to the Apex Court. Khomozo Modise has more.
Yesterday, the Judicial Service Commission saw candidates including Supreme Court Judge Nambita Dambuza Mayawasi, who has a legal career spanning over 23 years, which includes 12 months acting at the Constitutional Court, and Advocate Alan Dotson, a senior counsel who's also had an acting stint at the Apex Court. However, the interview of one of the candidates, Dr. Madumeja Malebe, a retired academic, was marred by controversy as allegations surfaced regarding the theft of church funds and the fact that she's currently under debt review.
You are either going to be lifted from debt review or you are going to be declared to be insolvent. If you are insolvent, you will not qualify to hold the position of a judge.
Yes, that situation has not yet arrived. I'm not insolvent.
This morning, another Supreme Court judge, Ashton Skippers, who handed down judgment on the old apartheid flag constituting hate speech, will take the hot seat with the hope of appointment to the highest court in the land. Khomozo Modise, Eyewitness News in Sandton.
In the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, chosen by President Donald Trump to lead the Department of Justice, has faced tough questions from Congress about political pressure on the department. Her testimony comes after Trump on social media pushed Bondi to investigate his political adversaries. Bondi is also facing questions over her decision not to release any more files relating to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, as well as the investigation of former FBI Director James Comey. The Justice Department was viewed as mostly independent under previous administrations, but Trump is being criticized for testing those boundaries.
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures are at highs between 26 degrees and 30.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes along the N3 North. This is on both directions of the route, between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive.
The top story this hour, residents at the Homestead Informal Settlement downtown Johannesburg say they are worried about being evicted.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like our insurance.
Ready to sell your vehicle? We Buy Cars goes above and beyond to make it simple, quick, and rewarding. Sell your car, your bike, your boat, your bakkie, all for a great price with instant payment. Trading in or buying next? Explore over 12,000 vehicles. Plus, get flexible finance and cover options at webuycars.co.za or at any branch. We Buy Cars, the best way to buy or sell.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Bongani, I really struggle with insomnia, and when I'm super tired, I struggle even more to sleep. So if I'm overtired, then it's going to take me longer to fall asleep. But something really funny, or I don't know what it is, maybe it's the endorphins and feeling relaxed. When my partner is sleeping over or I'm sleeping over at my partner's place, I sleep. I sleep. I fall asleep in his arms effortlessly. I have no issues, none whatsoever. I sleep so peacefully. I get in my more than 8 hours. I worry less, I'm less stressed. It's Gao from Muldersdrift.
Hi Bongani, it's Rudolph here from Alberton. Since I was very small, we were woken up at 4:30 in the mornings. Today I can go to bed at 3 o'clock, I wake up at 4:30. No matter what,
No matter if I'm sick, if it's weekend, if it's during the week, I wake up each morning at 4:30.
Yeah, and sometimes your body just adjusts, right, over time. Your body can just adjust to a particular sleeping pattern. But the folks at Discovery, they're partnered now with Aura Rings, and so that's how you can track your sleep through the rings, because if you're like me, you struggle to sleep with a fitness watch. That's not always something that feels comfortable for me, but a ring I could certainly try. So that's how they've been tracking people's sleep.
EWN Sport.
All right, Anthony Teixeira in for Cindy Paluta. I tell you what, Anthony, there's one group of people who sleep very well at night. We hope.
We hope. Fingers crossed. Yes. For just the second time in the country's history, Amajita will be running out for a knockout clash at the Under-20 World Cup. They have an encounter against Colombia in the round of 16. This is the stage where their 2009 campaign came to an end as they lost to the eventual winners, Ghana. Coach Raymond Mdaka believes this time round it's been a collective effort which has guided them.
The team has been blessed, but I have always been saying to people to say the unity that prevails in the team is helping us a lot. We're working together, all of us, working together. COSAFA, it was brilliant. AFCON, it was brilliant. Again here, we're showing the character that a team should be, or a national team is supposed to be. I think the team is blessed.
Kickoff this evening is 9:30, while in cricket, defending World Cup champions Australia will be battling Pakistan women from 11:30. The head-to-head leans in favour of the Aussies, who won all 16 of their previous ODIs, with more concerning for Pakistan that they've suffered heavy losses in their opening two games against Bangladesh and India. After two rounds of the ODIs, we've seen the English women at top of the table, level on points with the Indians, but with a superior net run rate. Switching to netball now, where the Spar Proteas will go in search of a first ever win against Australia. South Africans have lost all 47 of their matches so far, with Diamonds coach Stacey Markonovich even suggesting that they'll try different combinations against the South Africans this morning. In rugby, French captain Antoine Dupont has reportedly joined teammates this week for warm-up exercises before training alone. The scrum half ruptured his ACL in March, although no time has been given for a return to action. He's been ruled out for France's November test against the Springboks. Meanwhile, Southern Hemisphere powerhouses South Africa, Australia and New Zealand have joined forces with the unions from England, France, Ireland, Scotland and Italy in urging caution to those players and support staff who have considered joining the proposed R360 competition. They've warned those who join will be ineligible to represent their nations. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
So you thought you were building a business? In this economy? Good luck. But day by day, somehow it grew. You became payroll, procurement, PR, and pressure valve. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. What's that saying again? What doesn't kill your business makes it stronger? Or at least it should be that. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
Ready to lead the future of business? At Wits Business School, leaders don't just adapt, they define what comes next. Choose from a wide range of postgraduate programs designed to develop your leadership and strategic thinking skills. So whether you're looking to deepen your expertise or broaden your horizons, there's a qualification for you. At Wits Business School, ambition becomes leadership. Visit wbs.ac.za to find the program that's right for you. That's wbs.ac.za.
EWN Traffic.
21 minutes before 9, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident, unfortunately, on the N1 North. It happened near Allendale Road. It's causing delays from the Baklu turn off. Speaking of the Baklu turn off, do remember that those roadworks are still there. They are causing delays between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange while traveling on the N3 North. We've got more traffic volumes approaching the Kilulis interchange. Otherwise, more roadworks are happening along the N17 East in the Boksburg area. Delays at Rondebolt Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
In business, there are no guarantees, but here's a guarantee you can bank on. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and get a guaranteed non-escalating premium for 12 months, even if you claim. For pharmacies, restaurants, beauty salons, convenience stores, and other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get more out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Spring is in the air, meaning it's almost time for the 10th SA Garden Day on Sunday, the 12th of October. Celebrate the day with a garden party, lunch under the trees, or cake at a community garden, and invite your friends, family, or neighbors to enjoy your garden with you. Visit gardenday.co.za for inspiration and share pictures of your celebration on social media with #GardenDaySA. SA Garden Day. Sunday, the 12th of October.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Between 9 and 12, always, of course, on a weekday morning, it's the Clement Manyatela Show here on 702. You're huffing and puffing.
Yeah, because Sia made me run today. I normally come here at 45, but apparently
we're just
today,
keeping you sharp.
They told me today you're wearing a nice flowery dress and I need to be into...
Shirt! Flowery dress.
Run to YouTube, guys, to confirm if it is a shirt.
You can check on my Instagram. I'm not wearing... Although, if I wanted to, I could.
Oh, absolutely. And you'd look good in it.
I don't want to.
Yeah. I love your shirt.
It's just not... There are people who wear dresses, and I love it for them.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My flowery dress. What made you think? Like, just explain how you arrived at a flowery dress.
I don't know, but I can tell you what's coming up on the show. How about that?
Wow.
So,
flowery dresses.
No flowery dresses on the show today. We're going to be reflecting on the testimony of General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, which happened till quite late at night yesterday. He says, if certain things are said, this country is going to burn. I'm saying let the country burn because this country is already in the dogs. I mean, there's so much rot, Bong, and even he said yesterday, if it were up to him, he would fire everybody at crime intelligence and start from scratch. He held a press briefing and revealed what is concerning. So let it burn and maybe we start from scratch. That's probably the only hope we have. The fact that Richard Mdluli's peers are still running things at crime intelligence is wild.
His appointees, people that he appointed, family members, but also, I mean, very implicit in what Mkhwanazi was saying is that some members of parliament are themselves compromised in all of this.
Yeah.
So it could well be, and this is the frightening thing, it could well be that some people on that very ad hoc committee are themselves compromised.
Let them.
And the things he was hinting at about houses being leased by crime intelligence, and don't push us too far because we'll say.
I say it now. So we're going to look at that on the open line. Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're in conversation with our colleague Mandy Wiener in front of a live audience about her new book titled The Deal, which takes us inside the talks that led to the formation of the GNU. So that conversation happening between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we do our listener's choice feature. Today, we're discussing how the tender and bid adjudication process works, because that's where the rot is. Who sits on these bid adjudicating committees and what do they get promised? Because often they sign off on these tenders and approve companies because they get something in return. We're going to wrap up the show at 11:30 today. We'll be hearing from a single mom who is complaining about the pressure she's receiving from her daughter who's about to go to matric dance, because her daughter is getting pressure from the kids at the school because they're saying, I'm going to arrive in this car, I'm going to come in this dress. And the mom says, how do other parents manage this pressure from the kids while not disappointing them? So,
yeah, I mean, my word of advice, manage it early. Manage it early. I think by the time your kid is in matric, you probably are running behind in terms of managing expectations. Manage those expectations very early on. I think it's so important for parents to be able to explain to their children what home they live in and what realities that home faces.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes parents want to protect their kids from all the worries and the stress, and the kids has all kinds of fantasies and builds castles in the air when they don't live in them.
It's not possible.
Got your attention? That's the power of advertising.
Prime Media is SA's leading media company, giving you unmatched reach across radio, audio, video, and digital. That's what you'll experience at the Prime Impact Sales event.
In Joburg, 3 to 7 November. Cape Town, 10 to 13 November. Register and receive a free demo commercial, a custom campaign, and access to exclusive partnerships.
Seats are filling fast. Register today at primeimpact.co.za.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
Smart Steve, my daughter just turned 18, right? And now she's got her license and a boyfriend.
You're worried about her safety. With Momentum Safety Alert, she can access help 24/7.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry?
For sure. She can get help at the touch of a button for free.
Free? For all that and all?
Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
My favorite part of the week, corporates that care. So the idea, very simply, is to put a spotlight on corporates, on citizens that are making a difference in our communities. So often corporates are a little bit bashful, if not shy, about the work that they do, but we think it's important to put a spotlight so that we can make the circle bigger and spread the good news far and wide. And today I'm so pleased to tell you that I've got Kumesh Mudlia, the Investec South Africa CEO, with us in the studio to talk about their programs, particularly to do with young people and upskilling them for maths and science. They are Kutlwanong programs and technology centers. A very good morning and always a pleasure to have you on the show, Kumesh.
Thanks very much. Morning, Bongani. Great to be here.
My first question, as always, why are you a corporate that cares?
So, Bongani, I think when you open...
Just going to ask you to come a little closer to the microphone.
Oh, thanks, Bongani. So I think when you spoke about corporates being bashful, I think that's a bit of Investec. We don't like taking a soapbox to talk about work that we may do in corporate social investment or in other areas at times, because I think we do it because we believe it's the right thing to do. So from an Investec perspective, from the time of our founders to our current group executive leadership, there's a deep sense of leading a business with purpose. And I think when we look at Investec, we look at what the role that we play in society. And over the last couple of years, we went through quite a transition around what is our actual mission. So whilst we've always been imbued with a deep sense of purpose, a deep sense of commitment to the society we live in, we initially had a mission statement which spoke about creating and managing wealth on behalf of clients, which reflects the nature of our specialist bank and wealth business. But the underpin to that was really something bigger and deeper. And the journey that we went on was transitioning that to a phrase which talked about creating enduring worth. And in creating enduring worth talks about serving all the stakeholders that you support. So not just your clients, not just your shareholders, not just your staff, but also the communities that we live and work in. And that is a key part of the DNA of Investec.
Talk to me then about your pro maths, 20 years of this program?
So absolutely. And it started 20 years ago in Dobsonville on a pilot program with 105 pupils. Fast forward to 2025, 28,000 learners have been through the program. And we believe that the impact that this has had has been something beyond numbers, something beyond science. It's about people, purpose and hope. And I think the ability to partner with Kutlwanong to look at how you could build something that could be replicated. So starting with one school in Dobson 20 years ago, now having 19 of these centers operating across South Africa, 10 which are sponsored by Investec and 9 by other sponsors. The idea of today celebrating the 20th anniversary was really to use this platform. Again, not to get onto a soapbox, but to use the platform to say, we believe what we have is a model that has been replicated, that has the ability to be scaled, and has the ability to transform the communities that they operate in. And now we have the opportunity to welcome other partners into the program to support it for the next 20 years.
Off air, as we were preparing to start our conversation, I mentioned to you one of the things that keeps me up at night is the promise that the continent is set to have. We have this youth dividend, all these young people who are going to be of employable age very soon. whilst perhaps more established economies will have a very different problem of an aging population. But there's no point in having young people with nothing to do, with no skills to be able to do anything. Is that a worry for you too?
It's a deep, deep concern, Bongani, because what you want to do, when you look at South Africa and you look at the high levels of unemployment that we face with, you look at, I was just reading some of the articles while in reception earlier, the key thematic has been how do we make sure that the next generation of South Africans have a far better opportunity than the current generation have. And part of that is paying it forward. Part of that is making sure that these skills are almost become opened up, and that you give people the opportunity to participate economically in an economically active way. This is not about social grants. This is about developing communities and building hope.
Even, I suppose, from just purely a strategic point of view as a business, one of the things I imagine you do think about is not only thinking about creating jobs for young people, but allowing those young people to be job creators themselves.
Absolutely.
In terms of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things we look at through these sorts of programs is how you create virtuous cycles of fulfillment in communities. I'll give you an example.
Virtuous cycles of fulfillment. Tell me more.
So when you look at that, I'll give you an example of a school. I come from the Eastern Cape. And in an area of Motherwell in Eastern Cape, there's a high school called Sokiswa High School. That school would be what's referred to as a government school. It's not seen as one of the Model C schools where many people in areas like Motherwell would have been wanting to send their kids to. In partnership with Kwitlonong and creating one of the ProMat centers there, today, 2025, Sokiswa High School has been voted the top school in nationally for mathematics. So out of the Eastern Cape, out of Motherwell, Sokiswa High School is now one of the top schools for mathematics. In fact, it was voted number 1 out of all the government schools. That creates a sense of much broader opportunity in that community. Also, that school has now achieved for a number of years 100% matric pass rate. So it's not as binary as saying, look, this is just about maths and science.
Right.
It's what the halo effect that these programs create.
So how does it work? I mean, do you have this program working within an existing school? Do these kids have to go from a school to a particular center? How does it work?
Absolutely. So I think when we look at it, it's about using existing capital infrastructure that exists in those communities right now, not trying to create build and scale additional infrastructure. It's about actually creating that opportunity to say, we can use this school. We need the support of the community around that school. And Kwitlonong, through its program of having teachers and educators, then utilizes those exact same facilities over weekends and in evenings to provide additional lessons in maths and science to those learners.
Anyone listening to us now who's either a parent or even an educator who wants to get involved, how do they do so?
So I'd say reach out to us, to our team. On our website, you'll find some of the links. And we will absolutely then arrange to partner with ProMats Kwitlonong to introduce people to the program and look at ways that they can actively participate and support.
And by our website, you mean Investec?
Investec
SA
website.
All right, so go to Investec SA.
Yes. And on that, you will find a link and a promotion on ProMats that will give you also there is a barcode or information that you could then use to download further information.
I know it's not always about rands and cents, but come out with it. How much have you spent on this program?
I think you're 100% right. It's not just about rands and cents. We do spend a significant portion of our corporate social investment spend annually on ProMats because we've chosen education as one of the key drivers for our investment. And we believe in education creates the cornerstone for that economic participation that we spoke about earlier.
600 million is the figure I have.
That's about right over the last 20 years, yes.
Goodness me. I mean, from one center, as you say, to 19 now across the country, 600 million rand later. What's your vision for the next 20 years?
Is how do we double that? So in fairness, Bongani, we of the 19 centers, Investec sponsors 10, 9 are by other partners. We think, and that's the idea of us really being part of this show and actually hosting an event in our office later this morning, is to invite other corporates to partner us and to say, how can we double this over the next period of time?
Yeah, because I mean, if you're really serious about long-lasting impact, competition is one thing, but collaboration, I think, is the key to that kind of success.
Absolutely. If I look at South Africa today, how do we drive the narrative for South Africa further? It's around partnership across business, civil society, communities, government.
Finally, Kumesh, what's your message to young people in South Africa?
I think we're living in a country and on a continent that presents us with significant opportunity, and it's how we step up to the plate to take it. So I would say always keep focused on a true north for driving yourself further and forward, and always have a sense of optimism about the future.
Well, certainly Investec SA has stepped up in this regard as a corporate that cares. Appreciate your time, Kumesh Mudlia, the Investec South Africa CEO.
Thank you.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
What you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got plans. Don't say that. Shut your trap. I'm sipping wine. In a robe. I look too good to be alone. My house clean. My pool warm. Just shake. Smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel, and you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. Ooh, you're so sweet, so tight. I won't bite unless you like. If you smoke, I got the haze. And if you're hungry, girl, I got fillets. Ooh, baby, don't keep me waiting. There's so much love we could be making. I'm talking kissing, cuddling, rose petals in the bathtub. Girl, let's jump in, it's bubbling. I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say.
We thought we'd leave it on that note, leaving the door open. Happy birthday to Bruno Mars. He's 40 years old, hey? Today, KG has redeemed himself from playing grenades earlier. So on that positive note, we thought we'd leave the show. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. We'll keep an eye out, of course, for the big stories. You'll be first to hear it here on 702. Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi returning to Parliament. Cross-examination after that first day of testimony. You can expect there's going to be fireworks. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Fiso Zulu. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi is expected to continue with his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee inquiry into alleged corruption in the criminal justice system. Yesterday, he told MPs about crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo's arrest, and he said that it was a project to disrupt reforms in crime intelligence. He says the project included disbanding the political killings task team and was also aimed at stopping investigations in Gauteng.